is now. I'm just excited. I really want to edit the Wizard 101 Let's Plays because that's where I talk about the Doug Walker dream. Because I was listening back to the podcasts and I never talk about it. Yes.
I am now recording.
Okay. Welcome to our first Nightcrast.
Or as we call it, that midnight time.
That Midnight Time podcast. The funny nighttime crast.
It's us, but tired, and we don't have anything to talk about.
But
well, I have something to talk about.
We have Night Joe.
We have, we're both.
I have something to talk about too. I was in a really thinky mood earlier, but I kind of am out of it now.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Maybe I'll get back into it. But we both had dreams.
I don't even know how to start my dream. I guess I'll
You
start
go
where I
first.
remember it starting. I want to say that this dream does not reflect my waking conscious thoughts and opinions.
Brady, considering what I've told, I'm sure you're fine, but let's see anyway.
Well, let's see.
Oh boy.
So I was in what felt like an enclosed stadium. So like a stadium, not open air, but like covered stadium. It was very large.
Okay, I know.
A lot of concrete.
Like a basketball stadium?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was walking along one of the upper tiers, or not upper tiers, like the middle tiers of the seats.
Wait, you were
and
alone?
It was very crowded.
Oh.
No, it was very crowded there. And there were people. Oh God. There were people walking around with signs with like is that angular fist, is that originally the Black Power fist?
I actually
Is that where
don't
that comes
know.
from? I don't know if
I know it's used in a
that's
lot
where
of
it started.
things.
I see it a lot of places, but it was that fist.
Yeah.
You know the one.
Everyone knows it.
And for some reason I knew, oh God, I can't bring myself to say this. I knew that we were celebrating. Kaya's out there. I don't want them to hear this.
I can delete this later. So like this isn't live, so I can edit anything out that you don't want.
I know, but I just remember like it was just understood in the dream that we were celebrating Black Day.
Oh.
Hold on.
Was it at a high school or something?
It seemed like it was at a high school. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
where I was going.
That's
it seemed
2
like a weird
strikes.
Spirit Day thing. I know. Believe me, I will have struck out a lot of times before this dream is over. And I was walking around, and I was definitely in the dream. I was as white as I am, as white as you see me now. And I was walking around, and I remember feeling like vaguely uncomfortable. Like, am I supposed to be here? And people were like, everyone was happy. People were walking around. It was a very joyous celebration.
That's good.
And people were walking around holding like signs and stuff with, I assume, very like black empowerment slogans and things like that. I don't remember any specifically. I just remember seeing that fist and lots of things.
Yeah.
And they were all like chanting and yelling, and it was very raucous. And then I sat down, and 2 people, they were both black, they seemed like high school seniors maybe. 2 guys started to give a speech, and it was revealed that I guess this is taking place in the future because Black Day was celebrating the day that there were officially more black people than white people in America. and this is where it went crazy. And I looked, and I was like sitting down at this point, and I looked to my left, and in the audience was Donald Trump, and he was sitting there, and he looked over at me, and then he looked down, and he just sadly shook his head side to side, and got up and walked out.
Dude, I don't know what you were afraid of. That is an awesome dream.
And then I walked outside, like after it was all over, the celebrations like moved elsewhere, and the guys that I had seen giving the speech, suddenly they were white.
No!
Like no. It wasn't like blackface. It was like D&D disguised self.
That's
like,
where I thought you were going with this. I thought it was going to be everyone in the audience was in blackface and there weren't any black people.
The event seemed very empowering.
That's
if
good.
Ridiculous.
That's good.
But I just remember this whole weird racially charged fiasco, and then Trump was there. He didn't say a word. No one was paying attention to him. He wasn't like a feature
so
at all.
funny.
He was just a guy
He
in
just
the
looked
audience.
defeated.
And he
I
was
am-
just like,
In my head,
and
I
he
imagine
stood up
him.
and walked out.
I imagine him as
Like,
like,
you know, hands on his knees.
yeah,
Like, oh.
like an old man. I imagine I imagined him when you said that as like a PS2 like low poly character, because you know how like they would always do movements like that, like in like they would go like, and then they like walk up like a Sims or something.
Yeah, he just hung his head and he like visibly sighed, and then he got up. No one talked to him.
That's
and
so
he just
funny.
walked out of the auditorium. That was the last I ever saw of him. And then I got outside, and it was the people outside, and they were playing, oh god, a game of like guessing the percentage of your like each race in your heritage in your DNA.
It's a guessing game.
Yeah, it was like a carnival game.
Like guess
Going-
your height or weight or whatever.
Yeah, it was like guess your heritage.
That's this is
By
like
genetic
good
percentage.
satire that you were coming up with last night.
It was so. Oh god.
That's actually funny.
Thank you. So that was it. That was my dream, and it
Oh.
really was just. It was like, it felt like in dream. You know how some dreams are like a whole saga. This was like 20 minutes of one day. That was it.
Man, you've been booling on the dreams lately. What have you been drinking?
Oh man, I don't even know. I've been drinking hate speech, listening to that man.
I'm
Like the
still
game.
haven't gotten into that yet. I've been too preoccupied with other things, but
I'm sure the point of inflection where America became more non-white than white was from listening to Daryl Davis talk about like what the KKK fears.
yeah,
you
that's
know?
what they're afraid of. Oh man, you know, I was thinking about other things. It's like that's what MRAs fear, but with women. It's like not that there's gonna be more of them, but it's like once women start to become slightly empowered, MRAs see that as like a sign of like that they're gonna become more powerful than men and then like put men down and stuff like that. It's really fucking weird, and I think all it really just it's a testament to like when a group that doesn't have a lot of power starts to get power. It's like the group that had power. It's like their safety bubble is getting burst, and them being afraid is just like a demonstration, like an unintentional demonstration of that.
Yeah.
It's really
I mean, it's like-
interesting.
It's a maybe subconscious admission of
Yeah.
wrongdoing.
Yeah. Because I think, I mean, maybe this isn't true in every case, but I think a lot of times hate comes from fear.
I think it. Yeah.
Because it's like,
And
you know,
it's just
people,
a lack
when they
of
say they hate
understanding.
spiders, it's like, well, what reason would you have to hate it if you weren't afraid of it, you know?
Yeah.
My dream wasn't as interesting as yours, but I do want to. I had two dreams, kind of, and they were the same night. But then I also want to talk about dreams because I was watching a cool dreams video that I didn't finish.
Oh please.
But so the first dream I had last night was pretty scary. It was where I was at my grandma's house. I always have nightmares about bugs, and this one was no different. I was at my grandma's house, and I was in the room that I used to sleep in when I lived there, and I was sleeping in my bed. And then in the morning, I got out, and I heard something rustling in the wall next to me, and
God.
so then. Everyone, my mom and my grandma, my sister came in the room, and then we pulled down the wallpaper, and there were like these giant vinegaroons living in the wall.
Oh my
and
god.
they were huge, and then like in the dream they were called something else. They were called like ragoons or something. and I just remember
like rangoons, like the weird. Oh, that's like a Chinese dish, right? Like I don't
I don't
it's
know what a
actually-
rangoon is.
Hold on, it might not be that at all.
They were called something like that, and then I remember being like, oh, those must be related to vinegaroons somehow. But they were like ginormous, and they were crawling around and like pulsating. It was fucking weird.
Yeah, crab rangoon.
Oh,
It's like
I have
that
heard of that.
That little pastry that it's super bubbly and crispy, and it
I don't know. Let me look it up. I don't know.
it's
what
like
that looks
folded
like.
up. It's got four. It looks like if you pull the bed sheet up by
Uncrustables?
the center.
Crab ragoon.
Rangoon.
Rangoon. Oh, I'm on Bing for some reason.
What the hell's going on over there?
Oh yeah. It looks like a It's like a crab, like dumpling or something.
Well, regardless, that's a terrifying dream. Although those things do look pretty cool. I would be scared to see one in real life, I think.
One of those got on my sister's
Sneak
leg
up on me.
recently.
Really?
It was
Where?
like earlier this year. It was in our house, and she was
They
just
live here?
Yeah, vinegaroons. They're smaller here than they are in like Africa or wherever else they live, but we get little ones, and there was one. This was like a couple months ago. I was up here, and then I heard my sister scream like she was being murdered, and I came down later, and apparently she was just sitting there and looked down, and there was a vinegaroon on her leg, and so she got up and scream, and then it got lost in our carpet, and we never found it.
Those and the tailless whip scorpion.
The whip scorpions, yeah.
Look like H.R. Giger made them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even normal scorpions
so
do.
creepy. Yes.
Scorpions are awesome. They're really scary, but they're awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have another thing.
Chimp relationship with them where I love them and fear them.
Well, see, my thing with chimps is they're growing on me.
Cool. Yeah, I know.
I like tarantulas, though. I've always loved tarantulas, and I would get one.
I saw one crossing the street.
Cool.
On the way up to Mount Lemon one day. I could see it from the car. It was just walking.
There's a bunch on Mount Lemon.
Over it, and it went between the wheels so we didn't hit it.
My dad told me that he ran over a bunch of them once because, like, apparently they do a big migration every year or something here. And he said a bunch of them were, like, crawling across the road, and he just had to drive over them.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I've never seen that, though.
That's not quite as big as a tarantula. But its legs are probably like 2.5 or 3 inches across if it was all spread out, and its body
wolf
is
spider?
an inch or an inch and a half long. It probably is.
Or
it's
like
light
a
gray
trapdoor spider or something.
Yeah, and it lives. There's one that
Those
lives
are scary.
on the up, almost at the up part, the ceiling of the second story stairwell here.
Oh, really?
Did
you see it all the time?
We pass by its little hole every time we walk up to Kaya's apartment. Yeah, it's really cool. I like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I love it when there's like a little bug. That reminds me. I'll go back to my other dream, but first I want to talk about Cosmo.
Oh yeah.
There ever since. So there was a fire on a mountain. I think it's almost pretty much put out now. Maybe not. But
did you hear how many acres that burned? By
it
the
was
way?
insane. I don't remember, but I remember for a while.
So many.
A mountain that's like really close to my house caught on huge fire recently, and it took like months for them to put it out. And I think they're still actually working on it. And I would see like little helicopter people come and spray the red dust stuff.
Yeah, that was crazy to watch.
That was
Big
awesome.
Planes.
And then like immediately after that happened, a hawk. Like, and it's like a young hawk. It's like a teenager, and you can tell because it's like kind of ugly and scraggly looking, and it's small.
Just like human teenagers.
And
ugly, scraggly, and small, like me.
You're right.
Go on.
And he just flew into our backyard, and we thought it was a normal thing, or it was just like a one-time thing. And then like he's been coming back almost every single day. There's been a couple days where either he came back and we didn't see him, or he didn't come. But he's been coming back every day. Today he came early, and he sits on our fence and he sits on our bird bath that we put out for hummingbirds, because we have a bunch of hummingbirds in our backyard too, and we think that might be what attracted him. I think he might be trying to get the hummingbirds, but he caught something the other day. So we've just been watching him, and we named him Cosmo, and he's really cool. And we've just been watching him, and like the other day I saw him catch something. I don't know what it was. I put it up on Instagram. He caught like some bird, and he just ripped it the fuck apart. And he was like, when he started tearing into it, he was like throwing the bones and the extra pieces away, just like all over the yard. He was going just like flagrantly.
Really funny.
And then he like, I watched him when he got to the red part, and he like pulled out a big inside meat and like ate it whole, and it was so fucking cool. And I saw him like take a piece, and he like with his beak, and he stretched it out, and it went and it like snapped.
Oh,
it was so fucking cool.
gross.
I don't even care that an animal
horrific.
died. It was that cool. It was worth it.
Dude, I don't know if he's gonna have any luck with hummingbirds.
Yeah, probably not.
It's so cool.
They're mean.
They're so small and maneuverable.
They're
and nothing can catch them. I'm sure
my dog caught one once.
How on earth?
He jumped up in the air and bit it in midair and ate it.
Oh, God.
When I was little. I was living here at the time too.
Well,
That was
fucking never
my dog
mind.
Pete. Yeah.
But, well, maybe that's just a testament to their bravery.
I saw
because
that with my eyes.
I've seen them chase away hawks before.
Maybe that's
It's
their
so crazy.
weakness. Is their hubris.
Their hubris.
Yeah. Their hubris.
Their arrogance.
I remember Neil deGrasse Tyson used to say hubris a lot, which is kind of
Did
ironic.
he say it like that?
Either that or hubris or something. I don't remember. Which is even weirder, I think.
Hubris is the right way, right?
Yeah, but it might be the right way, but it sounds weirder to me. Hubris. Sounds like hummus. Oh.
Hubris.
But anyway, my other dream. So that's cool. I have like a mini. I call it. He's not my pet, but I call him my pet. Like I have a pet hawk because he's cool. I want to like
That's
buy
super cool.
feeder rats and go out in my backyard and see if I can lure him close, and then maybe I can tame the beast within.
Oh, damn. I don't know. That's how you get fucking clawed.
Yeah, but I
straight
could
to
wear
hell.
like a cool like glove, and he could ride on my glove, and I could walk him around town. And I wouldn't have him
sex
on a
with you if
leash.
that happened.
You would have sex with me?
Of course.
Oh, Brady. Finally.
No, don't get your hopes up. But I would be very jealous.
Yeah.
Very supremely jealous of you and your hawk boy.
I just think it'd be cool, because did I ever tell you about the time I went to Germany and we went to, I lived in Germany, and we went to this thing in a castle that was like, it was like some kind of bird sanctuary, and they had lots of like huge owls, and they had big like Jungle Book vultures, like, and they were
sick.
That was like the coolest thing I ever fucking saw. I was like 13, and vultures are like one of my favorite animals. They're like the most evil looking things in nature. It's like nothing
That's
looks
very
more
on brand,
sinister
yeah.
than they look like they want to kill you, and it's awesome. And they probably do. And so these guys, like, they were vulture and owl trainers, and they did this demonstration where we were up high because we were like on a tower that was like looking over a cliff, and they had the vultures, and they weren't even like captive. It was like, so they said sometimes they leave for like weeks and then come back, and
Whoa.
he let the vulture like fly away, and you could see it like fly around the sky, and it came back, and then he had a rat, and I think it was dead, and he held it in his hand, and he like didn't let go of it for the vulture, and the vulture, he like ripped it apart in front of the audience, and like,
Oh my God.
its guts were going everywhere, and it was so damn cool.
I'm sorry for the plane noises over your entire story. I don't know why
Oh, I didn't even
whole
hear.
Air Force is flying out right now. Maybe it's not picking up, but it's very loud on my end.
They're out to gas the protesters.
Just another Thursday night.
There was a police helicopter at that one we went to.
Was it
Remember
really?
that? Yeah, did I tell you
Yeah,
about that?
yeah,
there was
I
one
do
circling
remember
around. And
Menacingly.
so menacingly, I had another dream about you, and it was where
Need to hear this.
I had another dream about you on Instagram. I don't know why I keep having dreams
Weird
about that. Maybe I
Sonic
just
furry
on too much Instagram too much. This one's actually really funny.
I'm excited.
So today is my birthday. As I'm recording
Happy birthday,
this,
Mike. I
Thank
can't believe
you.
I forgot to tell you that.
That's okay. It
Ugh.
it won't be my birthday when this comes out because I'm not publishing this tonight. But I had a dream that it was your birthday. This was the night before, last night. I had a dream that it was your birthday, and for some reason you were turning 18. And in this universe, Instagram like shows your age, and it keeps track of your age. So it would say like blank 21, and then it was like Brady 17, and then I watched as when you turned 18 it changed, but instead of saying 18 it just said man in all caps. So I guess it was like the logic was that it was just acknowledging your status as an adult now by just referring to you as man.
That's really funny.
That was the whole dream. That was it.
Oh my God. I love it. Why were you stalking my Instagram
I don't know.
manhood?
I don't know.
I despise the word manhood. I hate it.
Well, because it's especially when it's referring to junk, because that I've heard it
Yes.
referred to that as before. I don't like it either. Yeah, in general, it's bad. I don't like any kind of hood. I don't like manhood, womanhood, chimphood. Well, I could get down in the chimphood, man.
Yeah, what about neighborhood?
That's okay.
Anyway, never mind. The chimphood, yeah. It could happen.
So I was watching this video about dreams, and unfortunately I didn't finish watching it, but it was talking about theories about why we have dreams, and one of them was like this evolutionary thing of like it's preparing us for conflicts that we might have in the future.
I've heard that one.
That's a really interesting one.
Like, it's a way to practice.
Yeah, and that makes sense in some cases, because I've definitely had dreams about things I was worrying about, and then it's like a virtual space to explore possibilities of like how you'll react to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So even if that's not what it's like, quote unquote, meant for, it definitely does do that. It definitely has that function.
I saw something one time about, it was like a Nova, you know that PBS science show Nova?
Yes, I love Nova.
One of the, I watched that a ton when I was younger because...
Me too.
Because I felt superior, but also because I watched a lot of PBS.
I still watch
remember
PBS.
one where they talk about, if I had like regular TV, I would too. I remember one where they talked about dreams as a way, like your performance. They had someone play like, it was like a skiing simulator, and they had them play it, and then they like they would track. This person would they had them play it for a considerable amount of time, and they tracked when that person started having dreams about it, and then their performance after they dreamt about it, and they improved.
Oh, cool.
Like,
so it is like
markedly.
a little training thing.
Yeah, when you dream about something, it can help your performance in that thing.
Did you used to watch the Science Channel?
Yeah, not as often because
I watched that a lot in high school. Yeah, cable. I watched Science Channel a lot, and I used to love this show called Through the Wormhole with Morgan Freeman. And
I've heard of it.
I watched that a lot. Some of the episodes are really cool, and some of them are kind of dumb. But some of them are like really interesting, and they talk to scientists and stuff. But that wasn't even what I wanted to talk about. I was gonna say, I also used to watch How It's Made.
Oh God, me too.
That show puts me in a trance state.
Uh-huh.
It is so fucking weird. It's his voice or something. It like it makes you just sit down and listen to things that you like have no reason to be interested in. And
God, I watched violin strings getting made. I've seen.
My favorite's the Jelly Bean one.
Really?
Yeah, and some of them are just like really weird, obscure things. Like this is how they make the lug nuts that they put on this tractor or whatever, and it's like, what the fuck even is this? And then some of them were like, how do they make a toothbrush? Oh, I remember the rubber glove one was cool because they had a conveyor belt that had these model hands that would go by, and then they would like pour a goo on it, and then it would harden, and that would become the glove or something like that.
I've seen how they make condoms. I don't know why.
That's cool.
Didn't look it up. But
was that in an episode?
I don't think so. But it was just like a bunch of little metal dildo-shaped things, phallic.
Do you
like
think they modeled them after people's dicks?
Shape.
Like they had dick models come in?
God.
Can
you say dream job? No, it was just like a cylinder with a rounded end, and then they would dip it in like successive layers of latex. Is that what
oh yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and then they'd roll it off, and they'd put it in a little packet, and it'd be done.
Have you ever seen the YouTube poops of How It's Made?
No.
They are so fucking funny.
Oh my God.
I'll send you some. I can't think of any of the jokes, but I just remember like they are really fucking good. They're like some classic ones.
God. Well, this is where our plan fails.
Wait, I wanted to talk about something about dreams. Oh, actually, no, I didn't. Well, okay, yes, it kind of did. So it's like the The video I watched that was about dreams was by a YouTuber named Blue Lava 6, and he's not super well known, but he makes really high quality videos. He makes really good things. Did you see on the Discord? I don't know if anyone watched it. I sent a video because when I was talking to our friends last night on Skype, or maybe it was 2 nights ago, I was telling them about this urban legend that I heard about, and then this guy had a video about it, and the legend is this place in Mexico, and this is one of those things where it's like it might be real, which is really cool, but it probably isn't. It's just like most like cryptids and stuff.
Yeah.
But this is like a really morbid thing. It's like there's a city in Mexico, and in like I think it was like 30s or something. There was this little gown store. It was like a dress store that sold like wedding dresses and stuff. And the legend is called the Legend of La.
Was it Pascualita?
Pascualita. Yeah, did you watch that video?
No, I saw the thumbnail and it said warning extremely creepy, and I was about to go to bed, so I didn't watch it.
Good idea. It is.
Yeah.
So, I think Pascualita might have been the name of the store, and it was also like the name of the lady who owned it. I don't remember, but it was just like a normal gown store, and I think the lady who owned it died, and it went to her husband or something, and then later the daughter, they had a daughter who was like an adult already, and she was like in her 20s, and she died for some reason also. I don't remember what it was, but she just like died randomly. Oh, what was the legend? There's something like there's like different variations. Like one of them is like that she committed suicide, or oh no, I remember now. Also, it was also like so I think maybe the mom didn't die. It was something like it was before the daughter's wedding, and something happened to her. Like she either committed suicide or got murdered, and then right after she died, a new mannequin appeared in the window of the store, wearing a wedding dress, and the mannequin had like an uncanny resemblance to the deceased daughter, and people also noticed that it looks uncannily lifelike for a mannequin, and so people started to theorize that was actually the preserved corpse, like the embalmed corpse of the daughter who died, and the father was using it as a mannequin in the window. And then of course there's other legends of like the eyes following you, and the mannequin changing position in windows at night and stuff.
So
and
creepy.
I know, but the thing is, like, it's a real store and it's a real mannequin, and you can go see it right now. And there's videos and pictures of it online, and the creepiest thing about it is the hands. Like, the hands are stupid. They are stupidly realistic. It's like they look like they're like decaying, and like if you look at like the fingernails, it looks like there's dirt under the fingernails, and there's like wrinkles on the palm, and it's so fucking weird. And so it's like if this is an actual mannequin, then someone just fucking went ham for no reason. Because why would a mannequin need that much detail?
God, that's very weird.
And it looks all off and weird. It looks like it's taxidermy or something. But there are some like flaws with the theory, and like I watched a different video that was explaining like why it's probably improbable that it is a thing, because it's like taxidermy. I watched a video that was done by a lady who's like a professional mortician, and she was talking about how like human taxidermy doesn't work the same way it does for animals. It's like the face and the body would be all messed up, and you would be able to see stitches, because one of the things about doing taxidermy on animals is that the fur hides the stitches. but she then said it could have been an embalming. Like there was this one guy, I can't remember who he is. Let me actually look it up, because I think it'd be an important.
This is so creepy.
There's an actual like embalmed guy who's been preserved perfectly for like 40 years. Let's see.
Is that the one? Oh man,
He's a famous
I heard
guy.
Something about this where
Embalmed man.
boy,
Maybe there's more than one. Let's see.
I heard something about like it was either a skeleton or it was a mannequin that was used in some sort of like theater troupe.
Oh.
And then like a decade passed.
Oh, it's linen. Wait, linen was preserved.
Lenin.
At the Lenin in
Vladimir
Stalin's
Lenin.
mausoleum. Vladimir Lenin, yeah. He's like been preserved for like 20 or 40 years, like perfectly or something.
Whoa.
Go ahead.
Well, he must have died like 80 years ago, right?
I don't remember, yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe it is longer than that. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Wait, let me look it up right now. But go ahead with your story.
I recalled this. It seemed like I heard it in person, but who knows with these things. It was just like somebody was embalmed and he was like a criminal or something.
I think I told you this.
Oh yeah, did you?
I think I told this story on Discord because this was a story I read somewhere and it's actually real.
Yeah.
Is it the one about
right,
the
like
theme
somebody-
park?
Was it a theme park? I just know it ended up somewhere. It ended up at like it was used in stage productions, and then they realized it was an actual body after like a decade of using it as a mannequin or something.
That's either the one I told you or the one that, or it's another similar one because the one I remember, and I don't even remember where I think I read it. I had like a true crime calendar, and I think that's where I read it, and it was like in the like cowboy days. There was this. Let me look it up too. That's also interesting. Because I don't remember his name. There was this outlaw. He was like a famous outlaw, and he died in like a epic halo of gunfire. And yeah, I think you're right. They like they took his body for some reason because they didn't respect it because he was a criminal or whatever, and they started using it as like sideshow attractions, and they were like keeping it preserved or something. And then, but then what happened is. Let me look up the story, but essentially what happens is the body got lost or moved or it got sold to someone, I think, and then it got like put away in storage for a long time. And then it's something like it somehow ended up getting sold to like some boardwalk carnival thing on some coast, and it was being used in like a boat ride as a decoration, and they thought that it was a fake thing. They thought it was wax, and it was like a thing that would just be hanging there while people went by on the boats. And then one day when they were cleaning it up, someone tried to move it, and they ripped one of the arms off and found human bone underneath it.
Oh God.
And then they looked into it and discovered who it was. But first, here I found the linen thing. It says it's nearly 146 years old, but doesn't look a day over 53. His body has been on display in mausoleum in Moscow's Red Square, carefully preserved since his death in 1924.
Wow, that's really weird.
But this in the video though, she explained that like the people who take care of that body.
146 years old. It's not 2066.
I don't know what the fuck I was thinking of. But
no, but I mean, wait. Did you say? Never mind. We can talk about it later.
Okay.
Does it say on that site 146 years old?
Yes.
That it's 2020, 1920.
Well, he's
something.
older though.
But he died in 1920 something. Yeah. You don't get embalmed before you die.
Yes.
Oh, so is it counting the age of his body?
Yes.
Not the age of the embalming?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
never
He
mind,
was
I got
53, so you have to add 53 to the years.
Boy, that'd be just about right. Yep.
I think. So anyway, the lady explained. I think the channel was called Ask a Mortician or something. And she explained that like there's a huge team of scientists and professionals that work on this guy constantly to keep him in like near perfect condition, and even they like haven't been able to keep it 100% perfect, but just near perfect. And so and they have to use all this expensive high-tech equipment and stuff. So if the La Pascualita thing is an embalmed body like linen, it would not make sense for that to work in a to be perfectly preserved in like a small family-owned gown thing, unless the guy who owns it has like a huge laboratory underneath and takes it and fixes it up every day, which just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't know any of that, but
You know what I think it probably
that's so
is?
weird.
Probably
What?
they just modeled the mannequin after the body, which is still kind of creepy. Because the mannequin looks exactly like the girl, and it only appeared after she died, which is like the weirdest coincidence.
Could they have made like a mold of her corpse?
Maybe. I didn't think of that. I don't know how
It's
hard
really
that would
weird,
be.
but I mean, it's already weird. Have people talked to the owners?
Yeah, they did. They're obviously like really secretive, and they don't let a lot of things out. And I think that was one of the things, is that they're very cryptic about their store, and they don't like to let people come in and ask questions. But there were a couple of times where like that's also suspicious though. Like there's even footage of it on TV of like a Mexican news station that went and did an article about it, and they had people go in the store and talk to the people, and they just gave really like cryptic non-answers to all their questions.
Boy, that just screams like
We killed
tourist
someone.
trap.
Oh, that too. Yeah, I didn't think of that. They're like they know that it would cause a lot of hype. Like maybe they knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
seems
good
like-
explanation.
Yeah, it just seems.
Well, maybe it wasn't even on purpose. Like maybe it was like they just put a mannequin up and it was scary, and then people started this legend, and then they realized that the legend got them business because people came to see it. Because people do come like just to see that thing. They're like famous for that, and then they were like, well, we better not let out that it's not real, or else people will stop coming. And maybe that's why they're so cryptic about it.
Yeah, maybe they've sneakily updated it
Oh yeah.
to look more like her.
That too. I didn't think of that. Yeah, they could have changed it. They could have like added weird details. But it's still just, the idea is really fucking disturbing and awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But back to the other
God.
thing. Let me look it up. You go ahead.
Oh, I had nothing to say. I was just thinking that. Oh God, hold on.
Let's see. I don't know how to search for this. Body found. This is perfect for a late night podcast. It's all these scary stories. Let's see.
Yeah.
Body
Oh,
found.
man. I've
Yeah.
got something that's a little bit less scary but equally cryptic.
Okay. You go while I look for this story.
Have you ever heard of Forrest Fenn?
No.
He was a guy. I think he's still alive.
Oh, I found it. But go ahead.
He was a guy. I don't know what he was. An antiques collector or something. He
What's
made
his
it
name?
Forrest Fenn. Forrest. Last name Fenn. You'll spoil the
Forrest.
story for yourself if you look it
Oh,
up.
okay. Shit. I won't look at it. Okay, go.
I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but many, many years ago, he hid a chest full of, like, gold and gems and precious artifacts
Cool.
somewhere in the Rocky Mountains.
Oh,
And he
cool.
said, this thing is worth $1 million. And he gave people a poem. And he said, if you're smart enough, you can find where it is from this
Wow.
poem.
Wait, what
And
year
it was
was
just
this?
like a real-life treasure hunt. It was... I don't remember when he put it out there. I think it was maybe 2012 or something.
Oh,
It
this is
it was
recent.
recent. Yeah.
I thought
and
this
it
was like from
found
1934 or
this year.
something.
No.
Oh, it
someone
got
it
found?
this year.
Was
Uh-huh.
it have everything in it he said?
Yeah, the guy who found it is not. Well, okay, let's see. Fenn knew where it was, and he would go and check up on it. And he went to check up on it, and it wasn't there. So somebody found it, and they're
Oh,
keeping
Forrest
quiet
is still
about it.
alive.
He's very old. Either that or he just died.
I hate to say this,
No,
but
he
it
must
would have
be
been
still
cooler
alive.
if he was dead already.
No, I think he's still alive. I don't believe he died. He's pretty old, but and that's the other thing is that like people were mystified by this for the better part of a decade
I've
or
even heard of
possibly
it.
longer. I could be wrong. I was really fascinated with it in high school, and I even like tried to figure out where I tried to
That's
analyze
awesome.
this poem, and it's really cryptic and it's not.
I'm gonna look into
super
this.
well written.
I
I would love to know where it actually was.
Wait, so was there like gold coins in it, or like what was in it?
I don't know. I think that might be excess. I think it was sort of like coins, and it wasn't just like $1 million USD.
Like on a
you know.
check or something, yeah.
Yeah. It was something that had to survive, and I remember one of the clues was that it was wet. Whatever it was, there was water on it. And then people were just mystified by this.
That seems like something that's intended to like be technically true but misleading, because it's like the first thing I think of is it's like hidden behind a waterfall or something.
Well, maybe. I don't know. But well, that was the whole point. It was supposed to be just a fun, cryptic thing.
That's
and
awesome.
It captivated a small but meaningful group of people for
Where
a long time.
was it found?
North of Santa Fe.
But like, what was
Just
the
a
water?
little
Like, what
Santa
was
Fe.
it in?
I don't know.
Oh.
It hasn't. If he's told us where it was, like if he released coordinates or something, I don't know it.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's so National
Maybe that's
Treasury.
accessible now. Yeah, I know.
But without Nicolas Cage.
Even better. I love scavenger hunt.
That's
treasure,
I used to
quest,
fantasize
adventure, things like that.
when I was little. I used to fantasize about like being a millionaire tycoon and just doing crazy shit like that for no reason, like planting a mystery that would like people would look for after I'm dead. I used to just like have these huge fantasies about stuff like that.
Oh. Forrest Fenn finally shared photos of his discovered treasure amid doubts that it was actually found. Yeah, so I'm looking at it now. It's a big, heavily embellished bronze or brass chest, square, with a bunch of gold coins and like just jewelry and old artifacts.
That's
and
honestly
stuff.
really
really cool.
That's a cool fucking thing to do, I think.
Hidden in the Rocky Mountains for a
Oh, I
decade.
see. Yeah, it's just it's a cool thing he made for people to do. It has a rusty key in it. That's
yeah, okay.
Fucking
it
awesome.
was under a canopy of stars in the lush forested vegetation of the Rocky Mountains and had not moved from the spot where I hid it more than 10 years ago.
Is that like a gold 50-cent piece?
Are you looking at the same CNN thing?
No, I'm looking at a picture on
Uh,
images.
I don't know. So let's see. Fenn reiterated in Tuesday's post
Or it's like a
that the
dollar
finder wanted to
coin.
remain anonymous.
Why?
As many as 350,000 people from around... Mike, would you want people to know that you had $1 million in your house?
Yes. No, I would spend it first, and then I'd let everyone
God.
know.
This is why we're betas.
Yeah, it is the pussy thing to do, is spend it first and then tell everyone. She's like, sorry, bitch, all gone.
Yeah.
I would bleed it out on e-girls.
God, you're already you're working your way up.
Don't get me started on e-cock. That's really fucking cool.
Motherboard
It reminds
from
me
Cybershade.
of the that thing that we were talking about last semester in Yana's class that I partially did my blue rat poster on, which is that
Blue rat.
that cryptic book that they found that like no one has been able
The Voynich
the
manuscript.
Voynich manuscript. And then there's also
Voynich, I'm not sure.
there was another thing. That thing's so cool. There was another thing that came out like maybe like the 70s or something that was kind of like inspired by that, and it was where this artist, I forget what that was called too, but he was trying to make something that looked like it contained information but didn't, and people are still trying to decode it, and some people actually think there is information in it, but he claims that there isn't.
That's really cool.
Let me look
I'd
up
love to
the-
make something like that.
My physics teacher told me about that, and it's inspired me ever since in high school. Let's see. Voynich. If we look at the Voynich manuscript, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to find the other thing. To look up legacy. Voynich manuscript. Cultural influence. What is a facsimile?
Feeling. Facsimile.
Yeah.
It's an approximation.
Oh, that's a category on the Wikipedia page for some reason.
It's like a reproduction. ideally an
Oh,
executive production.
I see.
But I don't know. I could be wrong.
What is this book called? Oh, here it is. It's called Codex Seraphinianus, and it was written in 1981 by
Oh, I remember you talking
Luigi
about this. I'm gonna look this up,
Serafini.
too.
And I heard about this in high school from my physics teacher, and then I remembered it because VapoRub on Instagram likes to post random pages from it sometimes, and that like gave me a brain blast, and I was like, oh, I forgot about this cool thing I learned about.
I looked it up and I got a drawing of a cute girl wearing a skull.
That's always good. Let's see. Codex.
I clicked on the second
Seraphinianus.
the second image on Google Images, and then I scrolled down, and on the top right of the related images, drawing of a cute elf girl.
Oh, with a skull on her head.
Yeah.
That is cute. I don't know why that's there. It gives me like Spiderwick Chronicles vibes, like this book.
I never. That was based on a book, right? That was
Yes.
books before it was. Was it movies?
There was one movie, as far as I
One
know,
movie.
that was.
That always looked super intriguing because I remember the cover art being super awesome.
Me too. I never read the book, but I did like the movie when I was a kid. It's a Nickelodeon movie. I don't know if it's still good, but I remember loving it. It's very fantasy and cool.
Oh, it's got that one fucking kid in it.
Which kid?
I don't know. He's just a
Spiderwick.
spider kid.
He is in a lot of Nick things, isn't he? Spiderwick Chronicles. Do you remember that? Remember Bridge to Terabithia?
Yeah, I
And
saw that once.
Everyone was like, it's
Very
sad, and the girl dies at the end. It is sad. We watched that at school,
The
I
girl
think,
dies
once.
like halfway into the book, or like, I think that's one of the first things that happens.
Maybe
I don't know. I
in
don't
the
know
book.
if I read it.
I think like in the movie. Maybe I'm wrong, but because I haven't seen it since. But in the movie, I thought it happens at the end. But that's enough spoilers of a movie people probably don't care about. I don't even remember that book was about a fantasy
people
thing.
Fucking love that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I take it back then. I don't care that much about it. I don't remember it that much. All I remember is the girl dying at the end, and that they would walk through a gate of flowers to get to Terabithia.
Yeah, I didn't. That was not one that ever really like captured my attention.
Oh, let's go back to the mannequin man.
God.
From the one in the carnival. So his name is Elmer McCurdy. He has a Wikipedia Wikipedia page.
Train?
I almost said that because I was looking at the word train. It says
I love when that happens.
that happens to me all the time. That happens to me when people are saying a word and I'm writing and then I accidentally write what they say. That always happens to me, and it makes me feel like a puppet.
So much.
I know. Let's see. So Elmer J. McCurdy was an American bank and train robber and he was from he died in 1911. So this is an old man. He was killed in a shootout with police after robbing a Katy train in Oklahoma in 1991, and he was dubbed the bandit who wouldn't give up. Then it said
The bandit who just don't quit.
his mummified body was first put on display at an Oklahoma funeral home, and then became a fixture on. I don't know why. That's weird. I guess they were like
Horrible advertising.
they were demonstrating their coffins or something. Then became a fixture on the traveling carnival and sideshow circuit of the 1920s through 1960s, which that's fucking awesome. I love the history of freak shows and old carnivals and how fucked up they were. Let's see. McCurdy's remains eventually wound up at the Pike Amusement Zone in Long Beach, California, where they were just.
Amusement zone is really fun.
That's what it says. Which I think that thing isn't even there anymore.
Amusement zone.
I'm gonna open the tab for that too, because I don't know anything about that. Let's see. Where they were discovered by a film crew and positively identified in December 1976. And then it says, in 1977, Elmer McCurdy's body was buried at the Summit View Cemetery in Oklahoma.
Wow, that's
Oh, there's some weird pictures of him on here. He looks like Ed Gein. He looks a lot like Ed Gein.
I heard someone say Ed Gein out loud the other day.
Ed Gein music.
Still to this day don't know what possessed.
That's fucking awesome. That was random. I loved it. It was
Lol.
yeah. Okay, wait, here's the details. It says in 1976 the production crew of The $6 Million Man, which I've never seen, but I've heard about. Were
They're the ones who discovered it?
I guess they were filming. Have you seen that?
No, I just know the name.
They were filming scenes for the Carnival of Spies episode at the Pike. During the shoot, a prop man moved what was thought to be a wax mannequin that was hanging from a gallows. When the mannequin's arm broke off, a human bone and muscle tissue were visible.
Ew.
That is
God.
fucking insane. I love stories like that. It's so weird. I love anything that gives me like a Ripley's Believe It or Not vibe.
Yes, I see. I was big into those sort of like, those where I saw other people having them, or I would read them at the Scholastic book.
I would do that too. I'd read them in the library, and I owned one.
If I could recapture the feeling of like the Scholastic book fair in 2nd grade, I would never leave.
That would be heaven to you. You die.
That'd be heaven.
I'm gonna. It's like I've died and gone to the Scholastic book fair.
That's like the lawful good version of, honey, are you all right? You've barely touched your Crunchwrap Supreme.
Oh yeah,
Mike, that is one of my favorite things you've ever said. I'm
so
writing that
glad.
the fuck down.
I'm so glad. I get what you mean though. I loved those. I looked forward to those. I loved circling what I wanted to buy in the book. And I always got Goosebumps. I think that's where I discovered Goosebumps books. I loved those, which mostly I bought for the covers and didn't read most of them. I read a couple of them, but I just liked the skeletons and stuff on the covers. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Ripley's Believe It or Not. They did have those there, and I loved world record books.
Yes, me too.
I've never been to
the Guinness Book of World Records every time. There's those two.
I've read a lot of those. Those went hand in hand, and I love like their weird shiny covers.
Yes, they would look like, you know how some tables have that like circular, they're like overlaps, so they're sort of fan shaped, and it's like circles of brushed aluminum or something.
I'm glad you said that because I didn't know how to describe that, but I liked those
a lot.
And I've never been to a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. I've heard they're not that good.
Those. I didn't know those were physical places.
Yeah, there's.
Oh wait, no, there's one on the Hollywood. On like the main Hollywood drag.
I think there's only a couple.
Boulevard.
There's one somewhere.
Definitely walked by it.
There's one somewhere in Europe. I think I might have been in London at the time. I was just visiting there. Because when I lived in Germany, we went to a bunch of other countries. It was either like London or Paris or something. I don't fucking remember. But we walked past one, and I remember out in front they had a statue of the world's tallest man, who was like 7.5 feet tall or something. And
bro, there are basketball players taller than.
Oh fuck! I don't know. Maybe he was like 10 feet tall. I don't remember.
He was 8'11".
Okay.
Robert Wadlow.
Yeah, and he was tall and wore a suit and had a cane.
Yeah, and he died when he was like 30 or something.
Robert. Yeah, it's hard to be tall. Not that I would know. Robert Wadlow. Yeah, that's the guy. It looks just like him. There's a statue of him, and he has a big cane. And so did he have a disease? He had like giantism.
Some sort of I guess so.
Like Andre the Giant, or maybe he was just accidentally tall.
Well, who's purposefully tall?
Well, good point. But not everyone who's tall has a disease.
Oh, you mean like
what if he was just tall? You know, why does it have to be a disease?
Unhealthfully tall.
Yeah.
Because he didn't stop growing.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, I think it was a pituitary thing.
Oh, weird.
Just went whack. I learned the word pituitary from Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh, really?
Calvin's daydreaming about like he just keeps growing.
I love that shit.
It's really funny.
I
occasionally, I love when Bill Watterson would just flex his artistic ability.
I like it when he flexes his knowledge. It's like he references like obscure like scientific things that for some reason Calvin knows about them.
Yeah,
And it's
I
really
like that
fucking
too.
cool. He was a smart man, I've heard.
Oh, I should
I mean,
really ask
obviously.
my parents to bring their some of their
I think
Calvin
I've
and
got
Hobbes
some right
anthologies
here.
up. Oh, I'm so jealous of you.
What? Maybe not. They must be put away somewhere. I have Far Side with chickens on it.
I bought. Well, no, I don't think I bought my dad, but maybe my mom did, or we both found it at some like used bookstore. The complete Far Side. It's huge.
Oh, that's cool. I love Far Side.
Incredible. Far Side is so good.
I used to
get
laugh-
Far Side vibes from Pants.
Yeah, but I think he's even funnier, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
He's such a fucking genius. Far Side, I just remember laughing my ass off at those with my friends in like 5th grade, and like we got kicked out of the library once because we were laughing too loud. And we
That's
would always go
so
in
great.
just to read like Garfield and Far Side together, and it was awesome.
Farfield.
Gar Side.
I know. Unfortunately, yes. I remember just like that and Calvin and Hobbes would, and occasionally Pearls Before
I went
Swine.
through a Pearls Before Swine phase. I have a couple. My computer's resting on a Pearls Before Swine book as we speak.
That's amazing.
And I have another one right next to me. I went through a phase where I was really into them.
I just remember
Yeah,
those
here,
were the
see?
things that could make me absolutely it's
Pearls.
hilarious. Those were the 3 comics, cartoon,
Yeah.
newspaper comics that would consistently make me laugh out loud.
Those are like the
I
exceptional
fixed-
ones.
Yes, and like even those are the phenomenal ones.
I'm looking at one right now. It's making me laugh. It barely has any words, and it's just this pig is sitting there with at a breakfast place with 2 eggs on his plate, and he picks up the eggs and puts them over his eyes, and he makes a face like he's screaming, and then Rat walks over and pokes them, and they start pouring out like he's crying. That's the whole comic. It doesn't have it has like
God.
2 words in it.
That's really funny.
Yeah, shit like that's hilarious. Those are the only things. When I was little, I thought about becoming like a newspaper cartoonist, and it was because of those things. And I hate shitting on any type of art form, but like everyone knows that like most Sunday funnies like suck, or they're like really boomerish, or like I think boomer comics have put in a really sour name for like that style of comic in general. But like,
Yeah.
I remember a time where
it's
they
like-
really meant something to me.
Well, I mean, those 3, I would say that
And Bloom
Pearls
County.
is rarely as
These
or
guys
it isn't.
are also
I
funny.
can't see. I just see
Super Reef is
Sugriva.
in the way. Bloom County
Oh, Bloom County, yeah.
with Opus the
Um,
Penguin
I've-
are really funny.
I've never read those, but I'd give it a try. I was thinking, Calvin and Hobbes is just such a that's like a Wayne Gretzky or like an Ichiro Suzuki moment where it's
Yeah.
like he is just so much better than everyone else doing that thing.
Yeah.
That it's unfair. It's uncool how good he is.
Oh, I want to shout out to an artist who it might be
But-
dead now. Wait, go ahead.
Regardless,
Go ahead
those
first.
other ones. I was just gonna say those other ones are great too.
Most Sunday comics make me mad though.
I know you gotta. That's truly 90% of all of them are garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's any. Maybe it's
In
just because
full
it's a
effect.
small art form. Maybe that's why it's because anything. I think like 90% of it's garbage. 90% of anime is garbage. 90% of horror movies are garbage. You know.
Well, it's the rule for everything because it's just a rule of perception.
Yeah,
because
it just
it's
makes
about Your
sense.
personal view of the world.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Well, I was gonna say it makes sense because it's easier to be lazy with your art. So it makes sense that more
Yeah.
people would make shitty art.
I was just thinking like, it makes sense because what you can't consider everything good.
Yeah.
Because then that would be meaningless.
Then nothing's
So,
good.
Yes.
Mr. Incredible.
Everyone's super. Uh-huh.
Dude, I saw this video that was explaining how, like, The Incredibles can be interpreted through the lens of, like, Ayn Rand's philosophy. It was really fucking interesting. Yeah.
Good old
What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
We were talking about comics. How they suck. Bloom County. This is the problem with doing a nightcast, is that I forget things.
There it goes.
Let's see, I need to retrace my steps. So I grabbed the book.
Mm-hmm. Give us a play-by-play.
Was I thinking of Pearls Before Swine? What was I thinking of? You ever have like a lingering feeling of a idea?
Yes, constantly. it's like it itches. It's like
Yes!
the physiological equivalent of an itch.
I hate it. I hate that feeling, and I have it right now.
It makes me want to like turn
Oh!
my eyes around and look inside my head.
Yeah, it makes me want to. I remember what I was gonna say. I wanted to shout out an artist that
Yes,
artist
yeah.
that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. His name is Gahan Wilson. He's. Are you frozen?
How do you spell that?
Oh, it's Gah. I saw a documentary about him once, and that was the first time I ever heard about him. And he was like stillborn at birth or something, and then he like came alive or something weird like that.
What the hell?
And so he like talks about that a lot. Yeah, Gahan Wilson. He is kind of like a Charles Addams guy. Like he made these like morbidly funny, New Yorker style comics, and some of them are like insanely clever, and I don't know how he thought of any of them. And
I'm looking at one right now where it's like one of those eye test
yeah,
charts.
that's my favorite one. I love that.
I am an insane eye doctor, and I am going to, and it's getting progressively smaller, going to kill you now as you sit reading this, blah, 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 and then he's, like, coming up behind him with a knife.
Yeah.
God, it's really kind of creepy.
I like the one I'm looking at now where there's a guy making pizza, and there's a guy waiting in line, and he has a mouth the size of the pizza.
Oh, God, that's so scary.
I know. He's fucking awesome, though. I love his shit, and no one ever talks about him. I do know, however, from that documentary that Stephen Colbert said he was inspired by this guy in some way, or that he like read him
That's
when he was a kid or
amazing.
something. And no one ever talks. He's underappreciated. People need to talk about this guy.
I'm looking at a black and white one right now, and it's just two guys sitting and talking, and there's a ghost coming down the staircase glowing, and one of them is just looking up and saying, "Good heavens, is it midnight already?"
Oh, I just saw that one. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. He's kind of Edward Gorey like.
Let's have a heart-to-heart talk. One huge, powerful grown-up to one tiny, nothing kid.
Where's that? I don't see it.
I don't know. I can't describe where it is.
That's okay.
there.
He
It's
makes
like a big square man with a little tiny.
I don't know
kid
if
who
he's
kinda
still
looks like
alive, but I know
Morty.
the story is that he was like stillborn and then he came alive or something weird like that. Let's look. I'm actually want to read it. I want to look it up. Let's see. Biography. No. Personal life. Yeah, here it is. No, never mind.
God.
There's fucking nothing about it. I don't know. Whatever.
He's dead. I saw something that said "rip," so therefore.
Oh damn. Okay. Yeah, I see it here. Oh, he died in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Nice.
Last year. Wow.
Oh man.
So he was alive
he
when I
lost a
knew
good
about
one.
him. But he doesn't get enough recognition because I don't ever hear anyone talk about him. He also had like a series that he made that was making fun of peanuts, and it was just called Nuts. And
That's hilarious.
yeah, he was a really funny guy. So I'm just glad I got to throw him into the world, so hopefully more people will know and research him even though he's more famous than I am and this podcast is, but I guess it helps still, I guess.
God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this one right now where it's like an old lady walking along with a guy with a human body, but he has like this green, gross, tentacly shrimp head.
I've seen that one.
Just
Yeah.
Harry, I really think you ought to go to the doctor. These are like the good side of boomer humor.
Yeah, exactly. I think I said this once. It's like newspaper comics or like stuff like Far Side, Gary Larson, and some New Yorker cartoons. It's kind of like they have the style and the vibe of boomer comics, except they're not dumbly cynical and they're actually funny, you know.
Yeah.
And they're not all just like phone bad, you know. It's like they're just about funny ass things.
It's just like the sort of understatement and kind of like dry.
That's what it is, and these are great at that because it's like showing a disturbing situation, and then it's like an understatement to contrast. Yeah. It's like it's just mundane. It's just part of normal life, that's what made like the Addams Family funny. Is that it was just like this weird morbid family in the middle of like a normal town. And
because
they
offsets the weirdness even.
And it was funny because like they didn't seem to notice that anyone thought they were creepy, which is like really cool.
Yeah, that's super I was just thinking about Addams Family the other day.
They made a new movie and I didn't see it. It was animated.
Oh, it was animated.
I liked the 90s ones.
Yeah, I was just thinking about those. My dad still says that are they made with real Girl Scouts?
Yeah.
There's a line that I don't hear said as much in that one, from that one, where it's like somebody's talking to Wednesday, like one of the mean girl types, and she's like, "Is that your swimsuit?" And Wednesday goes, "Is that your overbite?"
I love
all the time.
Addams Family Values is the superior one. I love that movie.
I think I've seen them all, or both. There's like two 90s ones.
There's
right?
two as far as I know. I think I've only seen two.
Yeah, I think I've seen them both, but I couldn't tell you the difference.
And there's a new one, and they had a cartoon show at one point that I've never seen, and they had, of course, the live action show, which I think I've seen like clips of, but I've never watched it. I think I like the Morticia from the show better than the movie though. I think maybe I like the personality of the Morticia from the movie better, but I think I think the Morticia from the show is prettier, personally. Not that it matters. I don't know why I even brought that up.
Well, you can have preferences. That's fine.
It's true.
As long as you understand that she's a human being.
I do. I care about.
Put 3D.
But right when I was saying that sentence, I was like, "Uh-oh, am I objectifying right now?"
Live act. Uh-oh. Show. Okay, let's see.
I'm glad we're not the kind of guys who just sit around and talk about tits that we like.
God, I know.
I'm proud.
I almost became that in high school. Like, I never was, but I was adjacent.
Was it just because
1964?
Like, you felt like you wanted to be part of that group or something? Or you felt pressured
Yeah,
to be?
I think I saw other people doing it.
I remember, like, in middle school, sitting around, I had a table with a bunch of assholes, and they were just talking about girls' tits in the class. Like they could have heard them talking, and they were just, like, pointing and looking and talking, and I remember just sitting there and being fucking pissed off. That was in like 8th grade, which was like the worst year of my life.
Oh God. Oh, I've definitely seen her. The actress is Carolyn Jones.
Yeah, she's very pretty.
She's very like creepy pretty.
Yeah.
Which I guess was the goal.
Yeah, she's alluring and mysterious.
She's the goth GF.
She is. Well, the OG goth GF is probably like Vampira or something who came before Elvira. And Vampira even sued Elvira for stealing her act, I think, or attempted to or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's nothing new under the sun. I've seen all this before.
Even that, there's probably some inspiration for Vampira, like some like traveling thing before TV that they took inspiration from, that, like no one knows about.
God, that'd be so cool. Oh,
I'm sure that's the case.
It's not a hot take, but old shit like that was so magical.
I love shit. Oh my fucking god.
It feels like somehow that's gotten lost, and I'm not saying
Yes.
we should make America great again, but
No.
I'm kidding.
Stuff like that.
I'm very much
Stuff
kidding.
like that. So there were these things called, I think they were called midnight movie shows, and it was like a thing in like I want to say like the 30s, but I might be wrong. Let me look it up. Okay, because it was a thing where they would play like a double feature, and it would be like a big theatrical thing where a guy would come out on stage and they'd have like these glow in the dark ghost props, and like they would oh my god, it was fucking cool. It was called Midnight Ghost Shows is what I think they were called. Ghost shows. Yeah, midnight
Ghost hunters.
midnight ghost shows, sometimes called spook, voodoo, or monster shows, promised a night of creepy and
spook
playful
show.
stunts. There were glowing ghosts, floating objects, psychic readings, and dozens of other illusions, all playing off the nation's interest in spiritualism between the two world wars. So it was the like 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Which is
20s.
I was thinking, the reason I was thinking about that is because
20s, 30s.
when I finish this short film that I'm working on now, I want to go, hopefully if people can go out in public again, I wanted to go to the screening room, which is down on Congress, and play it there, and I wanted to I wanted to set it up like a ghost show, and I wanted to have like
Mike,
things
you
hanging,
sexual genius.
and I was gonna go out in like magician drag. I was gonna and go up on
goodness.
stage with a big hat and fucking, I don't know what else. I'm gonna study it further, and I'm gonna like do cool stunts. I was even thinking about like maybe I'll get together with some other local filmmakers and do like a double or triple feature, and then I'll like come out in between each movie and introduce it or something.
God, that would be phenomenal.
That would just be like the
you
most
know I don't use that word lightly.
it would just be so much fun, and I really hope that can become a reality in the face
I
of the
would love
COVID
that.
thing.
Yeah. God, I thought... No, never mind. I can't talk about work on here.
Okay.
I'm not going to. So,
No prob.
it was a non-story anyway.
Okay.
Just basically the place where I work will not be shut down. We're already taking the necessary precautions because our governor just introduced new stuff today, but we were already doing it. So
Okay. Yeah, I love 30s horror aesthetics and 50s horror aesthetics. Like, that stuff's so fucking cool.
you know, I could never really get into that specifically.
Really?
But yeah, I don't know what it is. It seems I really couldn't explain it. It's
That's okay.
a little I know you watched Sven Gulli.
Oh yeah, I love
my dad and
Svengoolie.
I used to watch that all the time.
Yeah,
It's really
I
fun.
still watch Svengoolie. I have a couple Svengoolie buttons on some of my jackets.
I know. I remember when I saw you wearing that Sven Gulli.
That was one of our like.
I sent it to my dad.
That was one of
a
our
bonding
click
moment.
moments. That was like one of the first things we
We really
connected about.
clack. Yeah, that was. But that's all I was gonna say is that I've watched and enjoyed a good number of, probably a dozen or so.
Yeah.
That I can't even name.
Yeah.
Just really cheesy 30s.
All those
50s,
like now
all the
royalty free, public domain is the term.
Yeah. No copyright intended.
Some like schlocky horror movies from that time though are like genuinely brilliant though, like the famous ones. Actually, Nosferatu I think was like 1920s. Nosferatu is any of the like German expressionist horror films are like incredible works of art even today. It's like one of my favorites is like Dr. Caligari, which is a fucking incredible movie, and I wrote a report about that in my film class I took like 2 semesters ago, and I was comparing like the influence that movie had on Edward Scissorhands, because there's a lot of like inspiration that was taken from that movie into that movie.
That's really cool.
German expressionism is one of my all-time like favorite like art movements.
Yeah.
It is
really
that's
cool.
the OG goth girlfriend is all those artists who were in the German expressionist movement.
Is it really?
They all made like
about it.
really it was like the Scream, like Edvard Munch was part of that. Like it was all like really angsty, gloomy like nihilistic art, and because it was all World War
Humor.
II, and it was all about like
Oh, I see what you mean. Like
everyone
death and
was upset about like the world going to
morbidity
shit.
and
Yeah, and there was a lot of death.
kind
and,
of like today.
Yeah, and there a lot of that also, which is cool, is that a lot of that was tied to like the Weimar period, which I'm pretty sure I've talked about on this podcast before.
Oh yeah, we talked about that in several, like basically every art history class I took with.
Oh, it's my favorite in the world. I have a whole book
Do you
about
have
it.
art history still to take?
Yes, but I don't remember what
Are
it
you
is.
taking
I have like
Are you
one.
taking a Busby class?
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm taking the Busby one, which is gonna be fucking cool
Oh,
as
my
shit.
history of modern design.
Yeah.
That class will blow your nuts out. Which is where I presume they are. I've never looked myself.
That's awesome.
That class is incredible. I thought about emailing him the other day
What
because
about e-girls?
I thought about e-girls the other day, but that's all. I didn't do anything.
Don't worry.
Unlike some chimps I know.
I haven't done an e-girl in a long time. And like,
I don't care if you do. As
well,
long as
no,
you respect them.
I do. Of course I do. But it's also like, I mean, I haven't been doing it because it's so expensive, and I need to save money.
Yeah, e-girl rates are through the roof. No one's got any time or everyone's got too much time, so
Yeah.
they know they can upcharge, and
Yeah.
smart.
They
business
know. They
practice,
know
good for
people
them.
want it. You know.
They know what we want. They know what we like.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just gonna say, God, right in the middle of talking about Busby. Never hear this now. That guy's amazing, and
Busby.
yeah, you and him would you are like polar opposite personalities.
I met him once though, and he had like I went
But
into his
you're-
little office, and he had like
Oh yeah, I was there.
he had
We were
Japanese toys on one side, and he had like a poster for some like French avant-garde exhibition on the other side, which is like,
It was amazing.
I mean, that sounds like something I can relate to. Maybe it was like,
His enthusiasm and his thoughtfulness, you guys strongly overlap.
is he
there,
like really
so that's
orderly?
cool. Yes,
Ah,
he is super like lawful.
that's
By
okay.
the book.
Well, I
But
mean, I
don't-
get
not
along
even
with.
by the book. That makes it sound like rank and file. He's very free thinking. He just is organized.
Well, that sounds
And,
like you and me then. It doesn't sound like the kind of person I'd not get along with. It sounds like, because like you and me both like to talk about thoughtful things, but we're also opposite in our like presentation of orderliness, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. We differ quite a bit in as far as organization.
But we
goes,
differ
but
in like the
it's a
perfect
personal thing.
way.
It's not really.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we differ in like a way where it doesn't clash.
You're right.
It fits, you know.
It enhances.
Yeah.
It's a positive feedback.
We
thing.
complement each other.
We complement. That's what it is. All I was going to say is that I had a class with him that was more of a gen ed. I took it as an art history, but a lot of people took it as a gen ed. It
Mhm.
was architecture history, and modern architecture specifically. So I don't know what that's categorized as, like what dates, but it was cool. And on the first day in there, he knew he was speaking to sort of a non-art crowd, and gave this like incredibly rousing speech on the value of art and learning about art and design.
Oh,
And it was incredible.
that sounds like a
And I thought
brain
about-
melt.
Yes, and I talked to as I was walking out of there, I talked to someone who was like, "I took this class as a throwaway. This is gonna be fucking awesome." and it put a huge art nerd smile
Oh,
on my
it's
face to see
so
someone
endearing.
who had no interest in art or architecture coming into there leave with enthusiasm.
That is
for
like the best kind of
what was for
teacher
them
in the world.
gen ed class.
Is people who
Yeah,
do
he does
shit like
not
that.
pander at all.
I love
He just
condescending
gives you the
teachers
truth.
were always the worst to me. I like teachers like
Yeah.
him. Did you
Well,
tell me
yeah.
that he talks about at some point he talks about like the punk movement? Or was it someone else?
no, that was him.
Oh, that
We
was
talked
him.
about that.
That's really cool.
Punk, postmodernism. Yeah, he's very. God, he's so smart. Anyway, you'll talk about that. He really loves to talk about the Weimar Republic.
Oh yeah.
And his class is just amazing, and it's I thought about emailing him and asking, because that speech didn't seem like rehearsed, but it definitely seemed like he had the talking points in his head.
That's cool.
And I the other day I thought for a while I would just email him and be like, hey, do you have a copy of that speech? I remember distinctly. It had a big impact.
Yeah.
Had a big acorn little flaw. Do you remember that from Chicken Little?
Oh yeah! I knew I recognized that from somewhere, but I couldn't remember. That is a weird memory. Why did you think of that?
Know. Big acorn little flaw. I don't know.
I liked that
in
movie
there.
when I was little.
It was a what? It was a big acorn. It was an ape throwing coleslaw. We quote that movie around my house all the damn time.
Is that movie
really,
still good? I haven't
sucks.
seen it in a long time.
I always loved it, but I don't think I would ever argue that it was like, maybe I would. Maybe it's great.
Who cares? Yeah,
I
maybe
love
it is
that
good.
movie. It's got like a 5 out of 10 on IMDb.
I remember seeing a like behind the scenes thing about that show. I mean that movie where they talked about how like Chicken Little was originally going to be a girl, and then they even showed like fully, like they weren't rendered.
Fully nude.
No, they showed like fully animated CG sequences of Chicken Little as a girl. Like full out scenes. They just weren't rendered. Like they didn't have like good textures and lighting on them yet. But it was just like, how can you get so far into the production of a movie only to change it later? It's like that's what never made sense to me about things like that. It's like I would spend so much time planning out my characters before I went on to the next step, which is like making the characters.
That's interesting that you talked about that, because in my Over the Garden Wall behind the scenes Bible book,
Yeah.
there's a whole section about how they were indecisive about the design of the beast.
Oh yeah.
For like they did the entire show with a different design of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
Remind
Wow.
me, have you ever finished that show?
I watched it all with you.
Oh, you were there at for one of them?
Yes.
You were. Oh yeah, we were at the little watch party. Well,
Yeah.
that's great. I'm glad. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
It's Gravity Falls that you haven't seen, right?
Yes. Oh, I've seen it, but I haven't seen all of it, and I haven't seen all of. I've seen like a big chunk of Adventure Time, but I haven't seen all of it.
Yeah, both of those are good. I would say Gravity Falls is a lot easier because it's short and the story is pretty linear.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, they changed the design of the beast like right before it aired, so they had to go back and redo all the scenes he was in. And I think that speaks to the strength of the story and how it was so motivating, and it was such a driving force for them that they knew the characters' roles, but they just the final look of it was still being worked out even as the story was basically finished.
I guess that probably is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even that, but it's just like, I mean, I guess in the terms of like, I guess like you shouldn't have a thing finalized because it's like there's still the potential for it to fit the story better, and so you just have to kind of let it be flexible and mold.
Yeah, I would love to. I want to work on something big.
I want to work on something
You know?
big too, with you
I
even.
think I'm doing that with the Monumentum thing.
Yeah.
I've sort of that seems to have run dry a little bit.
Aw.
It's not my impulse to do that anymore.
Well,
but that's
it might come back. Sometimes things run
I-
dry and come back.
I've been thinking about. I'm planning out this painting of a house that I used to live in.
Ooh.
It was just like, this was the one in Iowa, which was just very. It was forested, so it was automatically sort of magical and whimsical in that way.
Yeah.
But I'm having trouble injecting the sense of whimsy that I feel about it
Huh.
into the visuals of it.
Have you started sketching it already?
Yeah, I've got a ton of sketches.
Ooh.
Here, I'm holding them up.
Wait, so you lived? This was your Iowa house, you said?
Yeah, this is actually a pretty accurate rendering of
Cool.
it. It's not so much like this. I mean, I like flared a few things, but it's still on the whole, it's too stiff. There's some this, by the way, for anyone listening, it's not really important what it looks like. The point is that it doesn't look how I want. There's this little one up here. I can't tell if it's
Oh yeah.
up here, which is sort of more like worm's eye view.
Yeah.
It's sort of getting to what I want, but that makes it look too scary. So I'm trying to find this balance of, you know how. Well, I guess it's different. I really
Rugrats.
super duper love cloudy days, and I think they feel magical and uplifting and adventurous, and I know that you don't.
Well, I like them aesthetically, and I get what you're saying. I just don't get them because it gives me like seasonal depression, and so it's like I don't have anything against them personally. It's just like I can't help it. They always make me really sad. Oof. I guess it's not even. I don't know if seasonal is even the right word, but like cloudy days just put me in a sad mood.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
But I don't know how to describe what I think. It's just, I guess, childhood magic, and it's difficult for me to capture that in a little drawing. I'd love to do a watercolor of it.
That's interesting. I don't think of cloudy days when I think of childhood magic. That's an interesting
that is
take.
the first thing that comes to mind. Probably because I glue up.
I gloomed
somewhere
up.
Where it was, I gloomed up, exactly. Somewhere where, and fall has always been my favorite season since. I guess it became my favorite.
That's still my
season
favorite too.
There in Iowa.
I like it when it's
Just-
peaceful and cold out, and there's like wind, and like red and yellow leaves blowing around, and it smells like you're.
Why, that's fall.
It smells like hot chocolate because you're holding hot chocolate, and it's cold and it hurts, but it feels good, and you have layers, and you can.
God, layers are the best.
I like breathing in cold air. I think that's why I like nighttime so much, and I like going out when it's
Yes.
night and breathing the crisp, fucking cold night
Just
air.
brisk air.
That is like how I know
is
I'm alive.
so-
It's like I love
Yes.
that fucking feeling.
real big human moment.
You
right
know
there.
what though? That reminds me of childhood because I remember like when I was really little, going out like maybe at Boy Scouts or something, and after Boy Scouts it would be really late, and I'd run around with my friends in the cool night air when it was dark out and play hide and seek and other scary games, and I would breathe that air and like I love those memories, and so that air reminds me of memories like that. Or Halloween
It's just-
too.
Yes, that was the best Halloween town I ever lived in. Halloween Town.
Do you remember those?
I never watched.
I had
it.
like all of them on DVD at one point. I probably still do. They're not good.
Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, maybe I'm not. No, I'm just gonna make faces. Anyway.
Ooh, nothing
yeah,
worse than a
it
latent
was just
sneeze.
Something about like those fall days, and I have memories of them that I don't have any specific memories,
Mm-hmm.
but the feeling in all of them is very specific. And it was just like walking home from school, and there would be a breeze, and it would be overcast, and I could smell like somebody's fireplace, and it was just the air, cold air, or cool air. You can feel it more. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. It's
I know
like
what you mean.
hot air is
yeah.
very ethereal, and you can feel the heat, but I swear when it's cool, you can feel the air itself, and it carries things better.
You know what I like?
And it would just blow through, and it was like, there was just magic on the breeze. It was amazing. I don't know how to draw the way that made me feel.
Well, you'll get to it eventually, I think.
Yeah.
I know exactly how. I'm glad we both love the same season. I don't like any of the
Yeah,
other
me
seasons
too.
as much because the other thing I like about fall is there aren't as many like annoying bugs and mosquitoes and shit and bees.
Yeah.
Because they're all going away because it's getting cold. And I also prefer the cold better than the warm because I don't like sweating and I don't like being hot. It makes me feel sick. And I like getting warm better than I like getting cold, or like better than I like cooling off. Like I'd rather cuddle up in blankets with a book by the fire than like go to a swimming pool. Even though I do like swimming.
Yeah, I was gonna say 99% of the time I would take coming inside and getting a hot drink over like cooling off or like laying under a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate
taking a cold
that.
shower. But then sometimes I just get a craving to like go swimming in cool water
Yeah.
when it's hot out.
Yeah,
Like-
especially when it's hot out, but
God, it's like, it's just amazing. But I still feel better. I would always take the warming up in the fall over cooling off
yeah,
in the summer.
pick your poison.
Mm-hmm.
I I just have so many good emotions. I think it's also because like Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Halloween are all around that time too. So I think we have associations with those.
And it's got to be the nature of it too, because fall is like, it's transitional, and I guess you could say because they're seasons, they're all cyclical.
I was gonna say, aren't they all transitional?
but fall specifically, like, is a middle point.
Yeah.
It's not hot or cold.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And things
And
are half
spring
dead.
is the same way, but I just love the, like, I don't think it's uncommon either. I think if you polled everyone, I think fall would come out on top as people's favorite
Maybe.
season.
People still speak very fondly of summer, though.
Yeah, but they haven't lived in Arizona.
That's true.
I think that's where I get my dislike for summer, is just the violence of it here.
You know what I was gonna say is, I know what
that?
you're talking about. I like it when it's cloudy, but when the clouds are way up high and they're still like kind of white. You know that? Have you ever seen that before?
Yes, I like it. I like when they're a low blanket and the world feels smaller.
You see,
I like
that
feeling.
I think is what I don't like. I don't like it when the clouds are too close, because that makes me feel like claustrophobic or something.
Oh,
it's
I always
weird.
thought it made me feel like it was like, because it could rain. I'll try and describe it. It was like the world got smaller but more interesting. So it was like, I don't know. It's something about, and this happens still to this day. I just love it. Anywhere I go, I just like prefer it to be overcast. And like possibly maybe it rains a tiny bit, like a drizzle throughout the day, but I'm not a huge fan of sustained rain. Thunderstorms are cool to watch.
Oh, I like
Overcast
thunderstorms.
is really nice.
Yeah.
And I understand to live somewhere really green, you're gonna need rain, but like, I don't know if I could live in Seattle or something. That might
Rain
be
on
too
the
much for
East
me.
Coast sucks.
Really?
In Tennessee,
Seattle's-
it rained like 3 times a week, like 3 days a week, and the rain didn't do much to keep it from being hot and sweaty, so you just got like the worst of both worlds. It would be like hot and sweaty and wet at the same time.
Ew. Yeah, Iowa got that way in the summer, when it would rain in the summer and it was still fucking hot.
Yeah.
There's no feeling like monsoon season.
I like
in
monsoon
Tucson,
season.
Arizona, though. It is big, it is grand, it's the
I like rainy days, but
the air is hot and the rain is cold. It's amazing.
I like being inside when it's raining and when it's
Yes.
snowing.
Yes, that takes me back to like elementary school,
But
when they would keep you inside for recess, but you didn't even care.
Oh. that gives me scholastic vibes. I like that too. That's
Yes.
of just like sitting in the hallway or the classroom and playing like apples to apples with your friends and not being able to go out for recess. And that also reminds me of like when like you would have some kind of after school event, like it was either like a play or like a parent teacher night, and you'd have like snacks in the classroom. You'd be like eating cupcakes.
I know what you mean.
You know what
I know
though?
exactly
I
what
think
you
part of the
mean.
reason I don't like the down low overcast clouds. We should call this the overcast.
Oh my god.
we should call it that. That should be the name for this night one. That's only on Patreon.
That would be cool.
I think it's because I like big open abysses. It's like I like to like look up into the night sky and think about how it's like a big endless universe that I could fall into. And when I see the clouds, it gives me sensations of feeling like, well, that's it. That's the end of the universe. That's all there is to it, you know. It's like, that's what it feels like to me.
I get it. I think I get it.
Yeah, and
I have that too.
It makes me feel like when it's a weekend or it's summer and you feel like you can't do anything because there's nothing to do. It's like that's the feeling I get when it's overcast like that, and I don't know why.
For some reason, I get so inspired
That's
to
cool.
do stuff when it gets overcast. I would so much rather go out and do things when it's overcast
Yeah.
than when it's sunny and nice.
What inspires me isn't sunny and nice doesn't inspire me either. What inspires me is like a clear, pitch black night with stars,
cool.
and it smells crisp. That is the thing I can think of every moment. It's like that fills me with energy and makes me want to jump around. That's why I loved working with you guys at the school at night, and then like we would take a break and walk to like Steak and Shake, and it'd be nighttime, or we'd walk to 7-Eleven, and you get to smell that crisp air. Those are like some of my best fucking. It gives me such a zest for life. Is like that feeling.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's really fun. God, I was just thinking about all the times I stayed in for recess when it would rain and they kept us inside. What else was I thinking about? Damn, I had something and it's gone. I don't. Oh, I was gonna say, you talked about the feeling of staring into an abyss. Sometimes I really what's
I don't
funny?
want to say it. It's too stupid. I was thinking, in Soviet Russia, abyss stares into you.
Well, it might be stupid.
But it's also dumb.
And gay. Anyway, I was just thinking,
The holy
I get that
trifecta.
feeling. Spring days give me that feeling, specifically early spring when it's just getting warm again.
Oh,
And like things are just getting green.
It's interesting because I hate spring.
And it's breezy, and like the breeze is cool, the air is cool.
It's also beesy.
It's beesy. Yeah, spring can be a little buggy. Whatever.
I guess
but
it's not
just
as
like
buggy as summer, but it's when all the bugs are out fucking.
Mm-hmm. Which some would say is even better.
There were just so many of those mosquito eaters fucking in front of my house last spring.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Like we saw those all over campus.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Just the feeling of like, specifically when I was on campus and there were like tall buildings with a lot of space between them. Like big open areas with high buildings around them, and like bright clear day with a breeze. I just imagine like standing somewhere high and looking out at that expanse.
Yeah.
And it just feels so like tranquil in a cool, clear way.
That is nice, and I would like to be able to.
That's the direct counterpart to fall for me.
I want to like
That's
capture
the
that.
complementary opposite.
See, my favorites are winter and fall. I like winter. I don't like spring. I think it's partly because I'm really allergic. I get allergies bad, and I also I don't like bugs, and I also get really sweaty, and so like I just have the association of spring of like feeling like my skin is irritated and my nose is plugged and sneezy, and there are bees and mosquitoes biting me. So it's like I have those like negative associations, and so I'm like, boy, I just can't wait till spring's over, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think
I like winter and
mine-
fall because everything's dead and nothing can bother you.
I like winter too. Cold winter mornings are something special. The moral of the story is from late spring to monsoon season, like up before monsoon season starts. I just don't like it. It's not.
Oh,
not a good
I
time for
see.
me.
Yeah.
Early spring, so like late summer, which here means monsoon season, to early spring. I love, and especially fall.
You know what feeling I hated as a kid
For a time.
was going to Target and seeing back to school signs and being like, oh no,
Oh,
there's only a
God.
week left of summer, and then it just feels
I
like
know,
you're doomed.
I can smell the swamp cooler in my house. Because we would use that over the sun, because they're evaporative coolers, so they work with moist air, and so we would use them in the summer because that's when it was super dry and hot. So they would be the most effective. That's why we have them out in Tucson and in Phoenix, because it's so bone dry out here that they work, and they're not back east because it's always so humid.
Yeah.
Like, nobody in Iowa has a swamp.
Yeah.
I can smell the way that when we turn that on, it would smell different than the AC. And to me, that always meant summer, it was hot out. I was stuck inside because I was a kid with no transportation.
Mm-hmm.
I was bored out of my mind, but also time was flying by until I had to go back to school. You know?
There's this.
And that's what I get from
There's
it.
a YouTube
Nope.
channel. I don't know if they've done anything recently. I knew about them a long time ago that I think you might like, and it's called The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. I think that's what it's called. It might be
Whoa.
Encyclopedia. And they're like these really...
Sounds like some emo shit that would be right up
It's
my
not
alley.
that emo, though, actually. It's really cool. It's like, these, they're really high-quality videos, and it's just like these... Oh, I guess they're kind of emo, because it's like, it's poetic, but it's like this guy making up words to explain, like, really specific, aspects of, like, the human experience that, like, everyone can relate to, but they're so weird and specific that, like, no one's has ever actually given them a name before.
Oh, God,
I think it's called The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows.
I will absolutely look that up. That sounds so awesome.
And then I was gonna say, there's a feeling I've had a lot in my life that is very hard to describe and very obscure and fleeting, and I want to know if you can relate to this. And I think I've felt this way because I moved around a lot, so I experienced this. Have you ever had the feeling of, like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to explain it. Well, first of all, have you ever been in a place that gives you, like, a vague feeling, and then you get, like, deja vu? And it's like, I've had this feeling before, but I'm not sure what it is about this room or this place that's triggering that feeling.
Yes, I have that often. Like, it's one of the most subtle feelings that I get.
Yeah.
Where it would be meaningless to anyone but me.
I've got, like,
and
a
I don't
few
really
of
know why
those.
it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
There's one I keep thinking of that, like, I remember, it's like the feeling you get when you're staying at, like, a really cheap hotel, and it's like everything that's there for comfort is like an unusually it's like an unusually cheap version of everything, and so it's like in the room it's like you've got a microwave and you've got like the ironing board that folds out, or maybe it's like a weird bed that folds out of a couch, or like hotels do it to me all the time, but only when it's like a cheap, like, Marriott. It can't be like a fancy hotel, or it's like it's got like weird, like, everything's off a little bit, like the tables, all the wood is like this weird, like, lightweight wood, and like the walls are like perfectly white. They don't have any wallpaper on them.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you're just like up late at night because you were traveling, and you're really tired, and you're just like watching Fresh Prince on your old CRT TV that they still have for some reason, and there's like a weird distinct smell that those kind of places have. And I've had
Yeah, I don't know why, but so many hotels smell the same.
Yeah, I don't know. It must be just whatever they clean it with or something, and it's a really weird, comfortable feeling that I like. Where it's like I feel comfortable, but I'm in a foreign environment where everything almost feels good, but it's a little bit off. And it gives me sometimes it's giving me like a high feeling, you know. It's weird.
This is making me think of liminal spaces.
What's that mean? I've heard of that before.
Oh, okay. So this, I have it in my head for some reason that it's like a Japanese concept, but I don't think it is. It could also show up in like something from Japan, but it's just like spaces that seem to exist outside of normal time.
Huh. What's an
and
example?
For me, hotels are like that for me.
Airports
because
are like
they
that for me.
Yes, because they have weird similarities that seem to remain no matter what hotel you're in.
That's really bizarre.
Let me look up. Let me define liminal.
I kind of want to look it up too.
It's fascinating. What is a liminalspace.org? They literally show a hotel.
Oh, cool. So maybe I'm not so alone in this. Liminal space.
The word liminal comes from the Latin word limen, Limen, meaning threshold. Any point or place of entering or being. A liminal space is the time between what was and the next. It is a place of transition, a season of waiting and not knowing.
This is creeping me out.
Liminal space. It's a little.
I don't know why. It's like a weird
very,
like other dimension or something. It's like a weird mind dimension.
It's like set aside. It's the dimension of the mind. It's like Rod Serling.
I feel like him tonight.
Yeah. Oh,
I love
dude,
Twilight
those are
Zone.
So good.
They're still. I
Liminal
love
space
those.
is where all transformation takes place. Okay, this seems like someone's trying to sell me a book.
Yeah, that sounds weird. I don't understand how that makes sense. What it has to do with
Liminality.
it. Yeah, I'm on the wiki of liminality right now too. Oh, it was developed by folklorist Arnold van Gennep, who I've never heard of before. I have a lot of those. I can think of a lot of liminal spaces like that. One of them is the digital loneliness thing.
Yes,
that's a liminal space. Yeah.
Just, I know it and I define it for myself. Maybe this is not how the rest of the world defines it, but my personal definition is just a space that seems to exist independently of the normal flow of time.
Yeah, that sounds like it might be something slightly different than what this is describing. But I know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to think. It's like you go. It's like that place is its own time.
Let me look a place outside.
Like you go to a
time.
hotel and it doesn't matter what time it is. It's hotel.
Yes, it's yeah.
It sounds stupid to say, but
no, I know exactly what you mean. Place, outside
like sitting
time.
in my house. Sitting in my house, I'm sort of like, I have an urge to check and see what time it is, and the way that I react to seeing what time it is very different than if it were that.
That's really fascinating.
Hotel.
I get that way. So the hotel thing, I get that same feeling in some, like, every once in a while, some restaurants. Like, if I'm ever at a sit-down restaurant that has the atmosphere of a kitchen, and if I'm there, like, at night, I get that feeling, and I don't know why. It's like if I'm at, like, a weird pizza place that has, like, tiling, that has, like, kitchen or bathroom tiling as its main aesthetic for some. I know that's a really weird specific thing to describe, but there's like burrito places like that, and whenever I'm in a place like that, especially at night, I get that same hotel like liminal feeling.
It's really fascinating. I love those weird subtleties.
The other one was I've talked about this a couple times on my not on my podcast, on our podcast of
kind of you to say.
It
might as well be. You do all the real work.
I have I have these locations that I dream about sometimes that I keep going back to. Which, by the way, I went back to another one of those places recently, but I don't remember the dream or anything that happened in of it. And it's like one of them is like a movie theater that doesn't exist, and a weird little like area way downtown, and like some specific restaurants and some specific stores, and a specific like weird indoor school / shopping mall / futuristic living space that I dream about a lot for some reason.
I have those too, but right now I'm really struggling to recall any of them.
Like I went back to it in the dream the other day. I don't remember what happened in it though. But I love that. I love the feelings of them. There's also a scary playground in my dreams that I don't go to very often, but I've gone back to it like 2 or 3 times, and that one creeps me out especially because I feel like that's like a deep memory of like a playground I saw when I was like 3. And it like it creeps me the fuck out because it feels, you know how sometimes a thing in your brain specifically feels more like a memory than just an idea or a dream. And it's like that
Yes.
playground scares me because it's like that one feels so fucking real, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I do know that.
Yeah.
I wish I could think of the ones that I have, and I'm sure I will later.
Well, we can
I'll
talk about it
just
later
think
when
about
you
it.
remember.
Yeah, of course. You know, I think speaking of talking, we've been doing it for a while.
Do you want to quit or do you want to keep going? Because maybe we should make these night casts like extra longer than the other ones or something.
Sure, we're at
Because I could just keep talking.
hour
I'm
50.
really
basically.
enjoying this. My night Joe has fueled my brain.
Mine, boy, my dad and I have noted that sometimes we can just drink caffeine late at night and it has no effect on us.
Really, it
Like-
always has effect on me.
I could go to sleep right now.
I'm such a bitch for caffeine. It controls me.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. That's one of the reasons I tried to stop for a little bit.
I've done that too.
God, just waking up and having coffee in the morning.
Well, you can have
Like you
decaf.
said, it's like, yeah, I guess.
If you're
but I
a
like to
pussy.
grind my own beans, and they don't make decaf beans.
Oh, you like to grind your own beans?
Yeah.
I see. Does that make it taste
My
better?
morning bean grinder. I think so. I don't know.
It might be a psychological thing.
It probably is, but it's fun. You know, that little like process thing. People have really been gentrifying the word ritual, but I know what they mean. I know what they're after. It's nice
Yeah.
to have little things that you do and you really take time to think about, or not think about and just do them and let the action sort of.
You described
take
it
you
as
over.
gentrified.
Well, they have.
It's really interesting. Well, I think that comes from like
because I don't know.
the usage
there
of the
are real
word-
rituals.
I think it's from the usage of the word in terms of like when people talk about OCD and like people having OCD rituals.
Oh, I just think about white people talking about how they brew coffee in the morning.
Do they call that a ritual?
Uh-huh.
I've never. That's weird. And
I see that. Maybe that's targeted at me because I'm a sucker for it deep down. I hate it because I know I'm...
no, it's okay. I get that. I would suck that too. Is that where the term sucker comes
I'd
from?
suck it.
Like suck your cock?
Huh.
Like you're a
I don't know.
cocksucker, but people shortened the sucker so they wouldn't get sent to the principal's office.
God. I want to... That's the new word for committing a social faux pas.
All right,
Sent to the principal's
get in the
office.
principal's office.
Go ahead. I mean, you could look up the etymology of the word sucker if you want.
I don't care.
I just have to pause to make sure. I just have to pause to make sure I'm not talking about the bug science. That's entomology.
Oh yeah, I just took a class on entomology.
Well, yeah, bug class.
It was really
online.
cool. I'm gonna take
Great.
monkey class next semester, and I'm really looking forward to that. Ape class.
God, ape class.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ape next semester.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something I read today that was kind of interesting. Because I'm still reading that other Viktor Frankl book, Will to Meaning. I got a Audible card as one of my birthday gifts, and
Oh, sweet.
I bought a book from Albert Camus.
Oh, which one?
It's not The Plague, but I do want to read The Plague, and I'm going to buy that tomorrow because that's also when my credit gets renewed. But it's a different one called The Myth of Sisyphus.
I've heard of it, but I have not read
And
it.
as far as I can tell from the description, it's not a narrative, it's not a story, it's just kind of his existential philosophy,
I love
being
that
explained.
meme you sent me. That was like, fuck now. Recognize the absurdity of life and find our own meaning.
I love that one too.
You sent it and said, this is fucking literally us.
I love that so, and I like the one you sent me where it was just like CG cone spheres and rectangles on like a beach, and then it said like everybody gangsta till concepts become things or something. I'll find both of those and throw those up on the screen.
Oh, thank God! All right, I have them saved. If you need me, I'll look them up. I'll send them to you right now.
Thank
so they're
you.
Fresh.
I'll save them somewhere.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
I must have. If I didn't save both of those, I'm a cuckold.
I also bought Animal Farm, and I bought
Oh, I saw you and May talking about
I
that.
bought
That is a good, interesting read.
1984, which I also haven't. I have not read it yet.
You are gonna love that, I think. I'm pretty sure that is.
I like dystopian novels.
That is a
I
Michael
mean, I know
book.
most people do, but I fucking love them. You think that's a Michael book? That's good. I've only ever seen the Steve Jobs commercial. I've never seen that. I don't know if I've never seen the 1984 movie. I've just seen the Apple commercial where they throw the
ad for Steve Jobs.
they throw the big sledgehammer at the computer.
The one hot.
Which is so she is hot. Which is so fucking weird that like really domineering capitalistic company which makes insane technology would reference a dystopian science fiction story as their ad is really strange.
They're not like other trillion-dollar.
That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to do like I think in the end of the commercial it even says like you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984 because that was the actual year. And they were trying to say like don't worry about it. It's not as bad as they say, which is a very dystopian thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly what a dystopia would do is try to say don't listen to the doomsayers. Everything's fine.
You're right. God, I don't think I saved the all my homies recognize.
No, it's okay. I could find that one easy, I think.
That I could.
You know what I have been thinking about though is so you know how everyone in our generation, or not everyone, but a lot of people make fun of like it's going back to boomer comics. We make fun of
Thank God, finally.
the boomer mentality of like phone bad, and then you see all those dumb those dumb drawings of like it'll like imply some kind of dystopian society where everyone's like addicted and controlled by their phones, and it's just really dumb and melodramatic. I think that there is an ounce of truth to those, but what I think the mistake that those things make is that they blame the phones and they blame the technology. Because
I always thought they blamed the people because it's
that's
like
not where I got.
Generation does this.
Oh, that too, or to say that it's like that's another. I see it both ways actually. Now that I think of it, because they say like our generation's dumb or lazy, and they're not like our old generation, or they say because I've also seen some that are like They say like look at what technology, or they say like technology is like the reason that our current generation is like this. They're like, oh, your phones and gadgets, and you don't go outside and play, and I think blaming either the technology or social media or blaming the generation in general is putting the scapegoat on the wrong thing. Because I think it's like a personal existential thing. Because I remember in an Albert Camus book, The Stranger, which is really good that I read in high school.
I love that. Yeah, I also read that in high school.
There was
I don't know if I love it.
I loved that book. There was a character who was obsessed with crossword puzzles, and she did crossword puzzles all the time, like compulsively. And the implication in the story was that she did crossword puzzles so much so that she could distract herself from like things that she needed to confront in her own life, like painful, difficult things, or confronting like a feeling of it having an empty, like a lack of meaning in her own life. And so that's an example of like, I don't remember when that book was written, but a time definitely before iPhones and all our modern technology, which is where like, even and I'm saying this because I don't want to sound like a sheeple person, because I'm saying I'm guilty of this too. I've felt that thing of like, I'm going on Instagram and posting pictures so that I can get like a little bit of serotonin, and I'm kind of letting myself become consumed in social media on my phone and I know subconsciously that I'm doing it to distract myself from something that I'm not processing. And
I have that feeling sometimes. That's one of my least
I
favorite
hate that.
sort of modern feelings.
But it's not even
Because,
modern,
as you
though.
just said, it's not.
Yeah, it's like it's.
This is just the modern manifestation.
We
of it for
been.
me, is social media. You're fucking.
And so that's
a
why
bin.
that's why it's like when I see those boomer comics, those like anti-technology, anti-phone or social media things, it's like I think there's a grain of truth to them. I just think it's like they're very sheeple-like because they're very like, I'm not like this, but everyone else is, and look how stupid the young people are.
Yeah, see, that's why I have a problem with them blaming the young people, because that's not the issue.
Yeah, it's like anyone can be guilty of that. And I don't think it's not the generation, it's not the fact that people are young, because old people do it too. And it's not like we're being controlled by our phones to do this. It's something like we're free to cast aside our shackles anytime we want. It's like, I know that's a really dramatic way of putting that, but that's how I feel. And
I get what you
it's
mean
like
now,
you can just fucking I feel like it's if you're letting yourself become consumed with social media, it's a personal problem. And Viktor Frankl was talking about not social media because he's too old for that. He was dead already, but he describes it as the existential vacuum. That's his term that he came up with, and that's when like you don't feel like you have meaning in life, when you're like a virtual nihilist, I guess, even if you don't identify as nihilist. And he said a lot of the times one of the ways people cope with that is by distracting themselves from it and doing things like you could do drugs, or you could do whatever, anything else. Or he said like there's other things like money, or wanting to get power, or an obsession with superficial pleasure or leisure are all things that people do to distract themselves from confronting the meaningless void inside your heart. And he also has 3 things that define the existential vacuum, and I don't remember what they are, but I want to talk about them, so I'm going to look it up right now.
Sick, dude. This is
Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're
this is
fucking bluing.
podcasting.
Yeah. Viktor Frankl, existential. He loves triangles, that dude. Existential vacuum.
He loves.
He had another one that's like the dark triad, and it's like the 3 fundamental versions of pain that all humans experience, and if you didn't experience one of them, then you wouldn't be a human. And it's like pain,
Whoa.
guilt, and death. And by pain, he means pain that's brought on by other people. So like when someone treats you unfairly, it's like everyone will experience that. Everyone will fuck up and do something bad and experience guilt, and everyone will both die and feel the pain of the anxiety about death. And it's like that defines. He calls it the dark triad, and it's so fucking cool.
Fucking badass.
It really is. He has a couple of triads. He has that one. The existential vacuum has a triad attached to it, and I think there's another one.
That dude fucking loves.
He
triangles.
does.
I love that.
Isn't it weird how
Said it like that.
3 is like such a popular number in our culture, and it's just like a weird philosophical, spiritual phenomenon that people become obsessed with 3.
Yeah,
And there's a name for it. There's like a weird name for like some like OCD disorder where people become obsessed with the number 3, and a lot of like famous artists have had it. I'm actually gonna look that up right now too. Let's see. Obsession. Wait. And there's got to be like some weird reason that, because like even the Holy Trinity, you know, it's like it comes up so often.
I know what you mean. I mean, just like even the 3 is the magic number.
Yeah, or 3 is the witching hour. Obsession with number 3. That was the first thing that came up. It has a weird fucking name. Oh, Nikola Tesla had it. I think a lot of like physicists and mathematicians have it, which makes sense. What the fuck is the name of that thing? It's just
I think it's interesting.
name.
All right, I think maybe to go way out on a limb here, because we can do that now because we're in the witching hour podcast, the late night one.
Yeah.
It's not even that
Yeah,
late,
go
it's
on
like
all the
10.
limbs you want, man.
I think I've heard that like 3 is the lowest order of like a stable interaction.
Oh, that's interesting.
So like if you think of like lots of things are built on 3s. So like think
It's
of
like a
bunch of
stable
bubbles
base.
connecting. Yes, the like circles, they will form if like bubbles on the surface of water. They'll connect in 3s.
Yeah. It's just so fundamental. There's like you can't think of a reason for it because it's just so intrinsic.
Mm-hmm.
Obsession with 3. I think I heard this on a Vsauce video. So I'm gonna look up Vsauce.
Probably like triphilia.
It's something weird like that, honestly, but it's got a cool name, and I think it even has tri in it.
Well, that would make Latin sense.
I don't think it's triphilia though.
Yeah, I was spitballing.
But that actually probably I don't think is too far off. Let me look up triphilia and see what happens.
Go ahead, try.
Yeah, because even like it's like the perfect base for things. Because so many things balance on 3 points, and you take one away and it'd fall over, and it wouldn't be a thing anymore. So it's so fucking
it's like-
fundamental.
Yeah, it's like the fundamental. It's the fundamental form.
No, not tri.
I don't even know. I'm sure someone has said it more eloquently than that. But
Yeah.
maybe that gets the point across. Like it's the lowest order. Like 4 is stable, but 3 is kind of more stable.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that shearing force, you know, like if you've ever tried to build something that has 4 sides, it can like parallelogram shift, that shear, where 2 of the sides go diagonal.
Yeah.
But triangles, you don't have that problem because
Yeah.
they're all in tension, essentially.
It's so because but then it's like if you go down to like 2, it's like you get a line, and it's like what can you do with a line? And 3 is like the smallest thing where you can have something that's useful, like a useful shape.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever read Flatland?
I saw the short film.
I never saw the
about
film. I read the book when I was little and I loved it.
that shit blew.
It's really cool. I loved stuff about dimensions.
I still do.
Me too.
I still find that really super fascinating.
I still think about it a lot. Oh, okay, I can't figure out what this thing was called, but it doesn't matter. I think I need to teach myself not to care so much about like dumb words.
God, I've been there.
I'm fascinated by words. I just think they're really cool. Let's see, Viktor Frankl, existential vacuum triangle. I'm looking it up. I love Viktor Frankl's stuff. Oh, he has a meaning triangle, and it's oh yeah, that's it. The existential vacuum. So the 3 points on the triangle are attitude, creativity, and experiences. And what's in the middle of the triangle is the void, and it's like you can find meaning by achieving any of those 3 things, and inevitably all of those in different instances.
Hold on, I gotta look this up. I think it'd be helpful
So
to visualize
what do you
this.
mean? Like attitude means like. So creativity is like you find meaning in making a work, or building something, or discovering something. Or experiences, obviously, it's almost self-explanatory that you find meaning in experiences. And attitude is like in his case, when he was in the concentration camps, whatever attitude you have towards your situation can create meaning. And one thing that I really like about what he says is that in life, suffering can be... You have the power to turn a moment of suffering into a personal achievement, which I think is really fucking cool. And you do that by finding a meaning to your suffering, so that it isn't pointless. And here's a cool thing. Here's a quote that I see right now that he talks about this a lot, and he said the existential vacuum manifests itself mainly in a state of boredom. And that's what he was talking about like why we distract ourselves because
Wow.
when you feel like existentially bored, essentially, it's like some people don't want to face the void inside, so they find outside external ways to keep themselves busy, which is a bad thing.
God, I've absolutely, not in those words, but I have had moments where I become suddenly and sort of shockingly aware that I'm doing that.
Yeah, me too.
And it, maybe not even shockingly, it's just sort of like a realization. It's like, yeah, I'm doing this because I don't know what else to do, and I would rather
I
have
masturbate
the
for that reason
certainty of
sometimes.
something boredom.
That's a
I would
problem I have.
rather have the certainty of feeling boredom than the or the certainty of doing something useless versus the uncertainty of existential boredom.
That's interesting. That's not even a term. I just made that up, but it makes sense.
Have you ever had the? Well, I think it's totally true, and it's a good term. Have you ever had the opposite of that, where suddenly, like, you're just completely happy to sit and think?
Yeah.
And, like, take things in around you.
I still feel that way a lot. I like that feeling a lot.
That's awesome.
That's one of my favorite feelings. Where it's like you don't want to do anything, you just want to fucking think. You see, fall days make me
course,
feel
I
that
mean,
way.
Yeah, me
That's why I
too.
like 'em.
I don't know. It's just fall brings out beauty. I think.
Yeah.
What I think of as beauty.
Me too.
They're cool.
And then the last thing he was talking about before I stopped listening to the book was he was talking about like the education system, and one of his explanations, and I barely kind of remember, so I'll be paraphrasing, is one of the things he said was wrong about the way they do public education is how they manage it, how they try to fix the problem of students being bored. And he was saying the fact that students are bored in the first place already is an indictment, because that is, I mean, if you're bored, it's an indication that what you're doing is meaningless. So it's like, but instead of reforming schools to make them more meaningful, or to focus on things that are more meaningful both to society or to show individuals why something is meaningful, instead they correct boredom by disciplining children or teaching them that it's wrong, or giving them busy work to do or something like that. And it's just a really like reductive and not maybe barbaric's a bit dramatic, but you know, it's just a like,
it's not very enlightening.
yeah, it's like a fucking like, I'm gonna discipline you for disobeying, instead of, it's like what we do with the prison system, you know, instead of figuring out why you're disobeying, because maybe it's our fault, or maybe we're part of the problem. And so that's a really bad thing, and that's part of the reason that the school system even today is still really fucked up.
Yeah, it's just, it's sort of paradoxical, but you can be busy and bored.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's meaning that, yeah, I think about that a lot when I'm stressing about work,
Mhm.
and not just now, anytime I've had a job or I've been working hard, I stress about it most when I feel as though either the work I'm doing is not meaningful, or I know of work that I could be doing that is meaningful, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason I can't
That
do it at the moment.
kills me. That is one of the reasons, that is one of the things that made me the angriest in school, is like, I wanted to get home so I could make this art that I just had in my mind, and I needed to get it out, and I couldn't because I had to sit here and solve this dumb math problem, and then I would get all these weird like existential thoughts of like, where it's like, well, in the end we're all just chimps, and all these, it's like, you know, the only reason I have to do these things is because some person tells me to, and they're no better than I am just because they're older and have a fancy title, so why do I have to sit here and do what they say when I could be home feeling happy and fulfilled? And those kind of thoughts, because like you think about it and there's still nothing you can do about it, you still have to sit there and do it, so it would just drive me fucking insane and give me so much angst.
God, I wonder what kind of person I'd be if I hadn't been a sheeple child. I totally bought into respecting authority without question and
Well,
things like that.
I thought of all those things, but I still like I always felt like I was kind of like disillusioned to stuff like that. I always like never fucking understood the point of like I never got why people felt like they could tell other people what to do. But I didn't do a whole lot of like rebellion, and that was mostly out of fear, and that was mostly out of fear of like my parents and the repercussions and stuff. And so that
Yeah.
also made me really angry my whole life. It was like I was being controlled by the threat of discipline, and that was the only thing stopping me from being free. And that I feel like I'm therapying myself right now. It's like I'm just having this epiphany. It's like that's probably what caused so much anger that I felt throughout my life, is like that feeling.
Wow.
I hated it.
Dude, it's weird. I don't know. I was just gonna say I don't know why I'm like this. It's interesting when you can like put the pieces together.
Oh, I
and see
love that
sort of
feeling.
What caused you?
Well, it's also but that's you have to be careful because that's reductive. That's reductionism because
Of course, you can see like a piece.
yeah,
Of what
that's
makes
one side. That's one shadow of the cylinder.
Yeah, it's cool when you can see that shape.
Yeah.
Like instead of just knowing that there is a shadow, you can see the shape of it.
Yeah. Well, but it's
Really
cool
interesting.
when you're an adult or when you get older and then you find something in your life that it gives me meaning when I look back and I find some sort of resolution to like a problem or an issue or a feeling that bothered me as a kid, and then I think of a solution to it now, and that just drives me. That gives me so much meaning. Like right now I have a very strong identity about individuality and freedom and doing things that give you fulfillment regardless of if there are social repercussions or discipline. And I think that I believe in that so strongly because for most of my life I felt the angst and the anger of feeling like I was being controlled by other people with the threat of either shame or straight up discipline, and that just created so much pain for me that my identity now, or part of my identity now, revolves around reacting against that feeling and the things in our society that sort of support that way of being.
I do sort of know what you mean by that.
Yeah.
That is super cool.
But it's just it's
God,
such a good feeling. It makes my heart burn in a good way. It makes me want to go out and make art.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I love it. That's what gives me life.
I need to. Yeah, art just keeps getting more meaningful to me. Like,
That's great.
It used to be something that I did because I needed an identity.
I hate it when art doesn't feel meaningful and it's like, what the fuck did I do wrong? You know?
That's what I've been doing for years.
Aw.
But it's okay because I've been learning that is happening while I've been doing it, and so for some reason I stuck it out and it wasn't meaningful.
That's great.
I truly don't know why.
Well,
but here I am. So.
Because art just does that. Like maybe there was like an ounce of meaning that you felt or something, or you just had faith that it was meaningful for some reason, and then it was.
God, that would be cool.
You know, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I spend a lot of that's one of the like what I'm doing right now is just sort of mindless doodling, and I have to remind myself that not everything I draw has to have meaning, because sometimes I get really discouraged that my sketchbooks aren't filled with these magical latent ideas. But
I'm really glad you brought that up, because that is
like,
something that still bothers me.
I see these sketchbooks of like my favorite illustrators, and I'm purely in awe of how much raw, like, electric story potential is in everything that they draw.
Yeah.
and I guess it's the old comparison demon again.
Yeah.
I get so like I need to be like
I
that.
feel bad about myself sometimes. Sometimes it's inspiring and sometimes it makes me feel bad, but it's usually the bad one. And part of me, for me, because it's like we talked about this with like when you're younger, you see someone who can draw better than you, or like they can draw something more detailed, and you're like, oh man, I wish I could draw that good. And then it's like, then you feel bad about yourself. And that can either make you want to stop or try harder, but it's frustrating. And I don't feel that way as much with sometimes still with realism, but as much with realism and more with concepts. It's more like
I'm getting there now too.
It's more like I've always been pretty confident in my storytelling abilities. Like storytelling has always been natural to me, but whenever there's
You're good at it.
Huh?
You're very
Thank
good
you.
at it.
There are it's usually concepts when it's like when I see a work of art where it's like this is a new idea, or this like I've never seen this before, or this feels more dangerous than something I felt before, and it feels more like raw and real, or like this is a new interesting way of doing art. Whenever it's something innovative, then I usually feel bad and jealous that my art isn't as innovative as someone else, and then I worry that like
I get that.
I worry that like I'm using too many things that have already been done before and not exercising my full potential by completely removing myself from things that inspire me. And I mean, I think
I do know what that's like.
yeah, and I have to
I don't
ignore
know if I
it.
feel it exactly the same way.
Probably not, but
I know this sensation, yeah.
and it's like I think the best way to combat this, which I always have to remind myself, is like I should not try. Like I shouldn't be like, okay, my next work of art is going to be the big groundbreaking abstract thing. It's like
that is so hard to do.
It really
it's so
is.
absurd to say, but for some reason it's hard not to set absolutely
It's because we have so much anxiety.
horrifically grandiose goals.
And
yeah.
And it's not like it doesn't mean stop aspiring. It doesn't mean stop wanting that. It means
or working hard.
Yes,
yeah.
but it means
Working hard
let it
in
ensue
general.
instead of constantly being conscious of your pursuit of it. You know, it's like
I just thought about that in the shower this
really.
morning. Yeah, I was like, great art has to ensue; it cannot be pursued.
Well,
that's just that phrase.
Who said
like
that? Because Viktor Frankl said something like that about happiness specifically.
I think you said I don't think you said that it cannot be. I think you just said great art has to ensue.
I might have said that, and I was
That's-
paraphrasing that from Viktor Frankl talking about happiness. He said, "Don't pursue happiness; you have to let it ensue." But I think it's the same thing with art.
Yeah.
And
I'm loving the chill vibes that are coming off this.
what?
I love this late night podcast
Yeah, I love this too.
format.
This is great.
I'm extra close to my mic and extra quiet. A little
I'm
bit raspy 'cause
not,
I'm tired.
but I'm not extra quiet, but I do feel nice.
It's all right. I'll be the hot one tonight.
I was talking to my
You take a break. You've been doing it for a long time.
I was talking to my therapist today, and this isn't like too personal, so I don't mind sharing it. We were just talking about like
Okay, cool.
the neurobiology of anxiety, and she
Yeah.
was explaining it to me because she knows a
Just
lot.
some things that have been on my mind.
She's really smart, and she was talking about like, do you remember ever in high school learning about like the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system?
Only a name.
I remember.
Could you give me a
I forgot
refresher
that those
course?
existed. It was like the sympathetic one is the one that that triggers your fight or flight. It's like your anxiety nervous system. It like makes you alert and makes you active and kickstarts you like being aware of your surroundings and stuff. And the parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for relaxing you and giving you
Oh, that's weird.
yeah, the other one gives you the sympathetic one gives you what's it called? What's the chemical that makes you scared or anxious?
Cortisone.
Cortisone. I think it's called cortisone.
That sounds like a prescription.
No, but I
drug,
think it's
actually.
real,
No,
though.
that's an
Wait.
cortisone is an itch cream.
Oh, it is? Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Cortisone 10.
What the fuck is it called? Oh.
Anxiety hormone.
Cortisol.
Cortisol. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cortisone.
Cortisone is an itch
Who
cream.
would name their thing cortisone? That's so weird.
Cortisone would.
So, yeah, and then, what else did she say? She was talking about, well, I brought up the question of, like, usually when you talk about a flight or fight thing, people frame it in terms of something that's akin to, like, your primordial fears of, like, wanting to survive or avoid danger. And I was wondering if, like,
Yeah.
she didn't have the answer to this, but we talked about it and it was interesting. When you have, like, an existential or, like, a philosophical fear, does that trigger the same part of your brain? It's like, is that still your sympathetic nervous system? Is that still, like, your anxiety part of your brain? Or is that, like, something completely different? Because you still feel a sensation of fear and uncertainty. And I was thinking, like, maybe the decision either to commit suicide or the decision to find meaning, maybe that's like that extension, the existential extension of fight or flight, where like fight is look for meaning and flight is kill yourself.
That's a really fascinating idea.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Yeah, that seems, I don't mean to call you Freud. That feels right.
Well, yeah,
something
this
I'm
is all
always skeptical
speculation.
of,
I don't
and
know shit.
Of course,
I'm not a
of course.
doctor.
That is a really interesting thought.
Not that we should always trust doctors necessarily, but like I haven't
No.
studied this stuff with scrutiny. It's just a random idea.
Scroot, the rat from Ice Age. Sorry,
I like that guy.
It's just in there. My dad calls him Scroat.
I love the word
The
scroats.
other day he said to me the word POTUS, or the abbreviation POTUS for President of the United States, reminds him of the word scrotum.
The scrotus.
I laughed at that. Yeah. I think I said totem and then I kicked myself for not saying scrotum. Kick me in the scrotum.
Oh man. But yeah, that's just
Maybe
what's
it's
been
too
on my
late.
mind lately is stuff like that.
That's what a thing to have on your mind, Mike. I'm laughing at the word scrotum. Anyway, yeah, that's fascinating stuff. But I think I'm at the end of my tether.
I'm
here.
falling asleep
I'm starting
too.
to drift
I'm
off.
getting exhausted. But
This was just about chill as fuck. Though.
This
I'm
has
really glad we
been
did it.
the Mike and Brady
It's been
Midnight
2
Hour.
Oh god.
We want to hear 2 hours?
Half of 'em.
Damn, Grill. I can't wait to upload this to a Patreon where no one will see it.
Our simp army of 0.
I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna edit episode 5, so it'll be out on Saturday, and I'll spend most of the rest of the day working on the Patreon and the Instagram and getting things ready on there.
I don't work tomorrow. I don't know what I will be doing. I'm sure I'll have stuff to do around here.
We can hang out tomorrow
But
too.
I'd love to zoom.
Yeah, we
I'd
can
love
zoom. I need to
we
fucking
can
animate.
play tomorrow.
Yeah, we need to go out and play. I love that.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Look at my dinosaur
Bro, where'd you
on
get
my
it?
birthday cake. It's a wind-up dinosaur toy. It's plastic.
God, birthdays are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, real plastic? So
I thought we ran out of that.
That's, oh my god, it's a plastic dinosaur. It's
Deplasticization.
the, have you seen that meme
No.
where it was like a picture, it was like dinosaurs and then an arrow.
Yes!
to
I love that fucking meme.
petroleum, and then petroleum to plastic, and then plastic to plastic dinosaurs. It says, even
This is a trace.
in the false self exists a trace of the true self.
That is so fucking funny to me. I'm gonna put that up too.
Genius funny.
I feel like we might have
Okay,
even
good,
talked
cool.
about that on the podcast before, but
That is hilarious.
maybe not.
Yeah.
But I love that meme
Well-
so much.
God, I can't believe I talked about my Black Day dream.
That's okay. I
Same-
talked about
same
the
episode.
cultural stealing dream and
And
the.
the other one, the restaurant.
Not gonna say that again. I
Not gonna
said that once.
You said it for the sake of the story.
And it doesn't need
Yeah.
to be repeated by me.
God, it's really
is
funny.
really
We can
funny,
get James
though.
to say it when we need to.
Yeah, we'll call him in every time we need to almost say the N word.
We can just put a voice clip. We can get him to say it once, and then we can put it over.
So that way
No, that's
black
still
person-
essentially.
we'll always be saying
that-
it. I don't know. I feel like that counts.
That's not.
I feel like it
cool.
counts.
That's still us using it.
But
we're just not saying.
I feel like that. I feel like that counts though, because it's like we've gotten permission from someone in that community. I feel like I don't know why, but it feels like it's okay to me.
It's certainly better than us. Saying
Yeah,
it.
exactly. As long as we don't abuse it.
This. Maybe we start the next, the next one of these with that.
The N word.
I'm gonna.
We start
call
the
it
next
here.
episode
Yep.
with the N word. That'll be good.
Of course.
Any great
Mhm.
podcast with white people should do.
I thought you were gonna say any other great advice.
Anything else?
Anything else? God. that
I
made me
used that
laugh.
on someone who said the N word, and I felt like a
I
fucking
know.
king, even though I didn't essentially. I shouldn't feel that great about it because I didn't really do that much change in the world. It gave me a little.
But you pwned a noob.
morality boner.
You owned a non-lib.
Oh no, you froze.
Oh,
Brady,
yeah,
no.
you too. Well, I'll probably pause it here. I'm sure we're just talking over each other like wild now.
Brady, you froze.
Oh, I'm back.
What happened?
You're back. I don't know. The internet went
No!
fucky wucky. Uh-oh, you're freezing again. Oh, God. This will probably get cut out. Da 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 da.
Brady. Where are you?
Wow, he's really gone.
Well,
Boy,
the
howdy.
Zoom timed out, so I guess that's the end of the episode. Bye, folks. Okay, I'm starting it again. I said a little thing, and I was like, well, I guess that's the end of the episode, but we can keep going anyway. What do you want to say? I was thinking we should try to get James or someone to make like an intro and outro jingle for our episodes. Yeah. Like, for these night podcasts, I feel like maybe we should put some kind of, like, cool spooky music in the background or something. I don't remember what that sounds like, but I think I know what you're talking about. Just, like, chill mystery music. Why? I'm already recording again. I just kept hitting record and it just continued. It didn't,
Oh, me
I'm still
too.
at 2 hours.
Okay, well, we can do it now
30
then.
something.
I guess.
Okay.
How will you know where to sync it up? I don't know.
What
This
are
was
we
the
gonna
first one of
say?
these, but I really liked it. I think these long format, sort of rambly ones. Not that we don't always ramble,
have to
but
pay
this
for
one will be
these.
behind a paywall.
You know what I think though? Maybe this one should be out free and all the other ones shouldn't, just so that the public can get a taste of it and they'll be like, oh, I need more. And we'll tell them that if you want more of these, you gotta give us money.
That's a great idea. Maybe we even think of something that is like an actual reward. Like we talk about different stuff. We got a little bit more like spooky, metaphysical than we normally do, but other than that, this just sort of ended up being.
Yeah, we can do that. We can focus on talking
We
about
can do
spooky
either that or
things.
like super chill, because we've been known to get enthused. You're right.
We
This
kinda did
is
both.
like a Whitman sampler. This will be perfect.
Because that's what
Mhm.
night
Does
does
both
to you.
Okay, well, we love you.
Well,
We
anyway,
really mean it this
this
time.
was fun.
Mwah.
Love you too. Yeah. Good night. I stopped too. I stopped it with a kid. Oh no, I didn't stop. I'm still going.